Good evening and welcome to the UkSimracers Toyota GR86 Winter Series, sponsored by Results Clothing. Results work dependable, coordinated outwear that provides durability to those who rely heavily on their clothing at work. Work smart, foster workforce unity and sharpen customer confidence by using Work Guard clothing. Work clever, rely on Work Guard garment design and technical fabrics to keep your workforce comfortable throughout their working day. Available in a wide range of sizes and colours, textures and finishes. Work Guide by Result will enhance the image, credibility and price of any professional tradesman from head to toe. Find us at shop.resultclothing.com. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined once again in the booth by the wonderful Daan Pepels as we battle the Redbull ring. It is that time again to visit Austria at this wonderful circuit here this evening, and what more could you ask for than being here at the Redbull Ring? It opened in 1969, reopened again on the 15th of May 2011. Former names out of the circuit is the Osterring, and we are here at the Redbull Grand Prix Circuit 2016 to present. 4.318 kilometres, 2.683 miles, 10 turns, and a track record set by Carlos Sainz Jr. in a McLaren MCL 35 2020 Formula 1 car. There is also a motorcycle circuit here, which is 2.702 miles, and also the Schutzschleife National Circuit, which is 1.452 miles. Welcome in Phil across the pond, Alan Toon, Craig Jones and Seal Designs. Much love for joining me as always, but I think it's time to bring the wonderful Daan Pepels into the booth to have a chat about last week's action at Bathurst. Good evening, Dan. How are you?
Doing very well. And I'm just coming in, of course, but I want to take the time, of course, James, to thank all 500 subscribers, because we have reached 1,000 subscribers on this channel. And I think that's a huge milestone, especially for us, James. And yeah, I want to thank all of you watching now who have subscribed. If you haven't yet, of course, you have the chance now to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. And while you're doing it, also make sure you like the video. It helps push the stream out there so more people see the drivers out on track. Talking about the track, we're in Austria. I've had a lot of schnitzels already, but keep an eye out for turn one because a very tricky exit. Sausage curb is laying there on the outside. A lot of drivers will slide over there. If you get one tire over there, you're pretty much guaranteed to get an off track. Turn 3, very important, very slow right-hander. Of course, the run down that hill into turn 4, very important to get a good exit out of turn 3, and especially the middle sector where turn 6 and 7 are very important. One of the only really corners or really tricky cornery section on this track. So lots to look forward to here this evening. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these Toyotas GR86 go around this track, James.
We don't have many corners, Dan, do we? This track isn't famous for the amount of corners that it has here at the Redbull Ring. You know, there's 10, but I got a funny feeling we could probably take 2 of them out, being that is the run up from Niki Lauda, which is turn 1, up to Remus, which is technically turn 3. Now, if you was on the motorcycle circuit, you would class it as a turn 2 in the middle, which basically is the run up to the hill, but I got a funny feeling we're not going to count that. So if you hear us going from 1 to 3, please don't think we've gone crazy, because we haven't. It's just obviously the fact that we don't class it as a turn, Dan, do we really?
No, well, in a car it definitely isn't, and I even think that it isn't in a motorcycle or on a motorcycle. And of course, this year you saw with the Austrian GP in the MotoGP that, of course, the chicane was added right in this part where we are going to now. So the track was a little bit different from what we have now, but we don't have that version here on iRacing yet. Could be coming, we don't know, but that's what they did in MotoGP. This isn't a corner, let's be honest, Shane. Of course, it makes this run up to this braking zone in any downforce car tricky because you brake a little bit earlier, but in this car you're not carrying as much speed, so you can brake a little bit later.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. So here they class it as a corner as well. It's not a corner. You can't class that as a corner there before you go down into Schlossgold.
They don't actually.
Which is definitely a corner. isn't it? This one, this tricky right-hander here before we go round into the infill section. Rasta
Yes, this
Ball on the left-hand side, and then we go through Roush and Worth, and then on the exit out down to Rin. But the drivers aren't going to have long. You know, the same times on 148. I would have thought they would have been a little bit quicker than that.
Well, this track is known, especially in Formula 1, as being one of the quickest tracks we go to, or one of the quickest lap times we have on the calendar. And I expect that to be the case here in these GR86s as well. But it seems like that isn't maybe the case.
No, definitely not. The standings are on your screen currently as they stand in the pros. Pete Newman is leading the way on 1,832 points. James Neve in second, Jamie Ayres in third, Miles Owens fourth, Charles Kellerman fifth, Ralph Cullinan sixth, Carl Hardy seventh, Craig Jones down in eighth place there, Pete Van Gaal in ninth, Carl Jacklett is currently sitting in 10th, Elise Main in 11th, Daniel Hunt 12th, Steve Pefford 13th, Martin Sampson 14th, and then we've got into the people that haven't actually turned up this season: Andy Maxwell, Ches Rizzo, Darren McLean and Roy Vervaeke. In the Championship, you can see we've got Anthony Jacobson on the top on 1,576 points. Arnaud Chagnon up 2 on 1,495. Then we've got David Ayres be on that in third, Dale Benison in fourth, James Hannington in fifth, Darrell Wright 6th, Roger Morton 7th, Andy Littler 8th, Colin Sampson 9th, Mick Barry in 10th, Michael Searle in 11th, Craig Deakin 12th, Steve Hansted is in 13th, and then of course we've still got a very uninjured Alan Toon who's not available, he's not here, and also Craig Crawford who hasn't unfortunately shown up this season. Right, in the team championships, we've got Safeguard by Result on top currently on 4,026 points. Result Clothing iRacing team in second on 3,600. Then we've got Team Momo rounding out the top three on 3,433. Spiral by Result in fourth, RWC in fifth, Work Guard by Result sixth, Pure Sims Esports seventh. Ready? Thank you. Optical Green 8th, Platinum Racing Team 9th, JM Racing 10th, Optical Red 11th, Year 1 12th, DOF Reality in 13th, and Optical Blue in 14th. Not quite sure what was going on with the overlay there. Excuse me 2 seconds while I give it a little tickle and a little bit of a refresh. And as we go into qualifying, I'm not quite sure what it was up to, Dan, but it weren't doing what I wanted it to do.
No, it wasn't. Well, it seems like SDK isn't working for me either. I'm stuck on the senior camera, so I'm getting a lovely view of the Red Bull ring, but I'm not seeing any cars on track. The thing is, with this track, long straights, so slipstream is going to be apparent here. You're going to want that slipstream, I guess, in qualifying, especially down the main straight, the second straight and the third straight. Not a lot of tracks where you can count 3 real straights, but we do have 3 really long straights here on this track. So slipstream, you're going to want to have it in qualifying and in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be one of the most important things here. We don't have long on the straight, so they are going to be tough. I think that run down into turn 1 is going to be quite interesting as well, to see how they handle that right-hander of Niki Lauda. Running up the hill into Remus, now these cars are very, very slow, sluggish getting away, so it'll be interesting to see how they plan their exit out of Niki Lauda on that run up there, as we see one of the Momo cars running off track currently on the left-hand side, on the hill up into Remus. So I think overall it's going to be an interesting race. You know, the GR86 has been tricky this year for some, not so much for others, but I think we're going to be in for a good one, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You know what it is? Of course, we've gone to a lot of tracks where slipstream is not as apparent as here. A lot of different characteristics of tracks, and I think this is definitely one of the newer, or we haven't had this type of track yet. We haven't been to Monza, if I remember correctly. Like, we haven't been to a very high-speed track yet. I don't know how many % of this track is full throttle in this car, but I expect that to be around 80% or something.
Yeah, as we jump on board with Michael Seal here at the scene then. Michael in the, well, he's got a results livery on. Am I missing something here and I'm not aware? Has all of this changed that I don't know about? Interesting. Right. Let's just have a quick look to make sure I've got everything I should have set up correctly, and I have, and it's been the same for the whole season. But there we go. Michael Sill. Roger Morton, shout out to Abby watching, getting some tips ready for Saturday. Good evening, Abby. Hope you're well there as well. Thank you so much for joining us. There we go, Roger, who's that? Martin Sampson, tell yourself up a tad, James. I have done. I am Max. I do love the fact that it was probably a Windows update, and that generally does cause me problems. I don't know about you, Dan, but Windows update does not like my my updates. It just kind of kills my volume all the way through. It's really quite annoying.
Well, I've had that, well, a couple of times. And I don't know why it does it. I guess the wonderful world of technology, the wonderful world of computers, it's cool when it's working. It's not so cool when it's not. And it's a lot of the times very difficult to fix. Luckily for these drivers, they don't have to worry about that. All the drivers that are driving at the moment, I guess, have their times set and their computer all set to what they want. We've seen the first times come in at the moment. Jamie Ayres in first on a 149.1. So we're not quite there in terms of where we were in the practice, but we also only have our first lap in. As we see Pete Newman at the moment. Going up into turn 2 and 3. Here is Miles Owens. That man is very consistent. Took his first win, of course, at Mount Panorama. Let's take a look at what happened exactly in Mount Panorama quickly. Qualifying was, of course, however you want to call it. Pole position was for Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman in second, and Pete Van Gool in third. Race 1, Pete Newman took it, and Jamie Ayres in P2, Pete Van Gool in P3. That was really, let's be honest, the only good race for Pete Van Gool. After that, it all really went downhill. Didn't really have the best evening out there. An evening to forget for him. Pete Newman won race 2 as well. And Carl Jacqueline in P2. P3 for Charles Kellyman. Miles Owens won race 3 ahead of Pete Newman and Steve Hefford. And you might guess it, race 4, Carl Hardy won. Jamie Ayres in P2 and James Neve in P3. The first time on that evening that Pete Newman was not on the podium. So an exciting one at Mount Panorama. Definitely one to survive, I think, was the biggest factor there.
Oh, yes. That mountain section did play havoc with people as well, Dan, and literally did cause one major problem. But you know, overall, I think it's going to be an interesting one here tonight. It's a different circuit. They've got the ability to run wide. They've got the ability, but the trouble is when you run wide, it kind of kills the momentum and they get a slowdown, don't they? Slowdowns are quite harsh here at the moment.
Well, a slowdown here is, it's going to lose you more than almost at any other track because you are just full throttle almost everywhere. I think the only part where you're not full is the last 2 turns and turns 6 and 7. That's the only parts where you are on the edge of full but not quite. All the rest is either just a real corner or it's a straight.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's going to be one of the things here these drivers are going to have to look out for is the lack of corners here at the Red Bull Ring. There isn't many, if any, to be honest. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens here this evening as these guys battle away here at the Red Bull Ring. I am just trying to fight fires in the background. I will be hopefully resolving an issue that has been causing me a problem. I'm not really seeing a lot currently at the moment, so I hope everything is fine and working for you guys. If you can, just bear with us. We are trying to battle fires here in the background because there is some issues going on with the timing software, but we will try and get it sorted out before hopefully the first race, Dan. So there we go.
Well, qualifying, luckily there's not too much action in terms of fighting going on in qualifying. What we do have is some action out on track, of course, people letting other cars by, and I think that's not something we've seen a lot this season. This is one of the shorter tracks. In terms of lap times, I expected it, we said it already, to be quicker, but this is one of the shorter tracks we're going to go to. And that's why I'm so surprised that the lap time is so long, being full throttle for about 80% of the lap, which is a very rough estimate because we don't know exactly in this car. So I'm surprised, but that also means that with a shorter track, there's less space for the drivers on the track. So the drivers are going to have to manage where they do find their gaps in qualifying and where they are going to start their lap times. We've seen it in F1, we've seen it in other leagues, but here in this Toyota, we haven't quite seen it yet. And I think this is the first time we really look at it and see, okay, they have to let other people by, they have to try and create their own gap.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the things here as well that they've got to look out for, is trying to create gaps that might not always be there either. And I think with this Red Bull, it can be quite tricky sometimes, and they can get mixed up in other people's incidents quite easily. So I'm hoping that they keep it nice and clean. But we do have Jamie Ayres currently sitting on top. Now the lap times do kind of decrease as the evening goes on and as it sort of plays out. It's really quite bizarre actually how it actually manages to do it, but it does kind of decrease as the evening goes on, and unfortunately they won't probably set a faster time, I wouldn't have thought, than what they're looking at already.
Yeah, well, we're currently looking at a 148.88, so lap times are down into the 148s, not as quick yet as we saw in practice for these guys. It's about 2 hours long. Track temperature and track condition differs, so we don't know what the track temperature is at the moment. I don't know if we can get a look at that, but I expect the track temperature to be somewhere in the high 20s.
Currently it is 37 degrees centigrade.
Yeah.
37 degrees centigrade. So it's quite high really, considering. We've got Daniel Hunt making moves in coming around sector 3. So I have to keep an eye on what Daniel is doing. This is going to go across the line very, very shortly. I'm expecting this to be a pole lap. And it is on a pole from Daniel Hunt on a 148.82. So it's going to be an interesting one and see how he gets on here. We do have 18 cars on track. 15 of set times currently on your left-hand side. We've still got 2 remaining, which is Anthony Jacobson and Steve Hefford. And I believe Arnaud Chagnonier hasn't set a time either on that one. James Neve has been taking excursions off the side of the track by the looks of it. So there we go. But it should be a great evening of racing. And we've got 4 races, 4 15-minute races there as well tonight, Dan.
As always, 4 50-minute races. And as always, race 4 is the one I'm looking most forward to, where the drivers getting comfortable with the car, the track, and the drivers, of course, racing on track, knowing what they can expect from each other. And as we know, race 4 never disappoints. It definitely didn't out at Mount Panorama last time round. Race 2 was, I think, the craziest race there, with the most cars not finishing. I think more than half of the 23-car field that we had didn't finish that time. So I hope we won't see that this evening. A bit of an easier track, this one. So let's hope we don't see that this evening.
Yeah, well, I think we ended up with about 12 cars out of 23. I believe we lost about 11. Yeah. So it was quite a manic evening. But, you know, I think one of the things is we've got to look out for as well is, you know, 3.5 minutes here left of qualifying. Just looking through the order, we don't hope tonight's a good night. Shame I'm missing, but a long day, death by PowerPoint, and a long drive home, said Jason Haddington. Death by PowerPoint. There are other graphical programs that you can use if you want, other than PowerPoint. Was you watching PowerPoint presentations all day, Jace? Was it? That was what the problem was. I know it can be frustrating putting them together because I've had to do a few of them myself. So 2 minutes 50 on the clock. Again, Pete Newman seems to be going a little bit quicker than he was currently at the moment. I'm going to try and work my magic on the angle of that track map. I really do not like it, and I don't like what has actually gone on here today. It seems like I've gone into a thing that you try and tested, and next thing you know, it all goes Pete's on. So you carry on, Dan, for a minute.
I'm finding my own issues even. So SDK really doesn't want to. SDK really doesn't want us to. Yeah, exactly. SDK really doesn't want us to put up a spectacle here this evening, it seems. But we're not gonna let anything get in our way at the moment. James is fighting in the background. Of course, James is trying everything he can to get it back on the rails. But at the moment, the quickest lap time is put in by Daniel Hunt, still on a 1:48.82. Jamie Ayres in second on a 1:48.88 and a 1:48.97 for this man, Pete Newman. And of course, Pete Newman, as we know, has been in the top 3 in almost every qualifying session this season. So if there's one man to count on being in the top 3, it is definitely Pete Newman. He's definitely also very strong in race 1. So if he gets a good result here in qualifying, you can almost count on him winning that first race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be the one thing we are going to look out for. Jace is hoping for a Chagnon win and a good performance from the result team. Well, there we go. Arnaud Chagnon is currently sitting in the pits, I believe. He hasn't been out. We don't have a lap. But then again, he's done 4 laps and hasn't set a time. So, as much as I would love to say that Chagnon might be in for a chance of a win, I think he's going to be at the back of the grid, possibly with this man, Craig Jones. Now, one of the interesting things about Craig Jones, Dan, is he literally bought the track a couple of hours ago. He didn't have it, apparently. Because we were talking earlier on the phone, and he literally was like, Red Bull, what one's a Red Bull? I was like, you are joking, Mr. Jones. He was like, no, I don't think I've ever raced there. I was like, really? I was like, dude, where have you been? I said, I'm sure we've been there. He was like, I don't think we have, James, you know, I really don't think we have. And it turns out he didn't actually own the track. So he's only only bought the track not long ago. So, yeah, bless him. He hasn't had much practice. I know, I was surprised as well, to be fair, mate, considering that I think I naturally presumed that everybody had the Red Bull ring. I don't, you know what I mean? Because obviously it's in every series, isn't it? Don't forget, guys, as well, there is a top 15 reverse going into race 2 as we come to the end of qualifying. I'm hoping everything works, guys, because as you can see, we've been battling fires here in the background. But Dan, oh God, take us through them.
Well then, we have Daniel Hunt on pole position, Jamie Ayres P2, Pete Newman P3, Michael Seal P4, Miles Owens P5, James Neave P6, Carl Jacklett P7, Steve Heffert P8, P9 for Ralph Cullen and Pete van Gool P10, P11 for Roger Morton, P12 Colin Sampson, P13 Andy Littler, P14 Anthony Jacobson, Charles Kellyman in P15, P16 for Mick Barry, P17 Craig Jones, and P18 Arnaud Chagnon. Well, if there's one thing that went right tonight, it's the speed reading of the grid.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that could go right is if the grid would disappear, and that would be amazing. But why is it when you oh, never mind. I just cannot figure out what's going on tonight. Everything seems to be rapidly decreasing and broken. So, yeah, bear with. We are trying as best we can to try and fight these wonderful fires in the background while I'm trying to sort out 4 different things at the same time here tonight as well. So, yeah, we should be up and running hopefully on this stage very, very shortly as we've got 13 and a half minutes remaining before we start here. They've got about 30 seconds left. Here we go. The lights are on. We're going to be green very, very shortly. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it is green, green, green here at the Red Bull Ring as these cars go racing down towards us. They're 3 wide already. Jamie Ayres, Daniel Hunt, Pete Newman coming down into turn 1. How is this going to turn out, Dan? Is anybody's action so far at the beginning? Newman goes slightly wide, but at the moment it is Jamie Ayres followed by Pete Newman, followed by Daniel Hunt, and followed by Michael Seal, Dan. Oh, there's a spinner at the back. Andy Littler, Craig Jones, Charles Kellerman.
Well, what did I say about Pete Newman? If he qualifies well, you have to count on him winning this first race. Look where he is at the moment, still under attack from Jamie Ayres. Jamie Ayres goes down the inside of turn 3. And on the exit, it's Daniel Hunt who gets it all wrong. Loses another position to Michael Seal. The Adam driver goes up onto the podium position overall. So he's had a good start as well. He's now up 1 position. Daniel Hunt, a terrific start for him. 3 positions down.
Oh,
not what he would have wanted. Oh no, there's a contact between the 2.
Michael Seal, Daniel Hunt coming together. Elise Main nearly, literally poked her nose in as well. Arnaud Chagnonet has gone in straight to the pits. But there was an incident right at the beginning that I want to try and have a look back at, if I can, with Andy Littler. Littler's in the middle with the blue, well, with his name, obviously, on the front of the car. As he's coming up to turn 1 now. Oh, he goes round. Kellerman, Jake Sanson, Craig Jones, Arnaud Chagnonet into the barrier. And then, unfortunately for Chagnonet, it doesn't get any better at the next turn. There's a lot more that goes on here after this. Chagnonet's car is crabbing like crazy. You can see that.
Yeah,
look
the alignment on that one is not good.
Look at him holding the steering wheel. And unfortunately for Chagnonet, he jumps straight back into the pits. But Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres are having a go at each other again.
Well, Pete Newman being overtaken by Jamie Ayres. If Pete Newman can sit this out behind Jamie Ayres, maybe try and push Jamie Ayres and try and get away from the pack, he's more than capable, I think, of making that move on the last lap with the slipstream that we have. Look at that, 3/10 was the gap at the beginning. Not gaining as much as I thought he would. He's gained about half a tenth on this straight. About a tenth only he gained on the straight. There goes Miles Owens up into P3, trying to pass Carl Jacklin. Gets pushed right out to the outside over the sausage curb. That's going to lose him a little bit of time. He's definitely close enough to try and make a move down into turn 4. Pete Newman, however, up front didn't quite able or wasn't quite able to make the move on a Jamie Ayres. Isn't quite going to be able to do it this time round. Downhill braking zone, very tricky one. Jacklin once again defending the inside. Miles Owens has to watch out that it doesn't run wide. He does. It's going to lose him time to Neve as well. He has to slot in at some point. Otherwise, maybe Van Gool can run around the outside.
Yeah, it's looking like Pete Van Gool's running around the outside now. I called Elise Main earlier on, and it actually isn't. Carl Jacklin has finally changed over to the optical red skin that literally freaked me out. And that is Carl Jacklin in the optical red livery for the Toyota GR86. Finally changed over. So where I'm going, it's Elise Main. It wasn't. It was Carl Jacklin making moves on the inside. Pete Van Gool now looking at coming up the inside of Miles Owens. Gets the job done. Owens down into 6th now as these guys go round Rint and down into Redbull Mobile, which is the final turn, turn 10 here on the circuit. Owens looks like he's got a little bit of a better run. Can we stay on board with Miles Owens? We have. Here we go. Is he going to be looking at taking the... Oh, he's taking the outside line.
He's going to try and work around the outside. This is going to give him a better exit on the run up the hill.
They're going to work.
He's still there. Oh, Jacklin in front! Jacklin maybe just a bit too greedy on power, or just catching that sausage curb in the wrong way, or maybe hit from Neve. It didn't look like it because Neve was just a little bit too far back, it seemed like. But Jacklin getting it all wrong on the exit. And, well, that's not what you want. Miles Owens up to P4, but, well, within 1 corner.
Oh,
no touch.
Took too much.
Yep, sausage curb. Like I said.
Yeah. Michael Seal has dropped down the order currently as well. There is Seal, and I believe that is Charles Kellerman in front of him currently from the optical green team. We've got the recovering Carl Jacklin in front of that. Craig Jones is there trying to catch up to Colin Sansom here, 3 seconds up the road. And then we've got Ralph Cullinan. Oh, that's PBG off. PBG off track, goes wide, and then in turn 3 before running round turn 4. But unfortunately, PBG off the side of the track, and Steve Hefford is back this evening in between Ralph Cullinan and Daniel Hunt.
Well, Pete Van Gool getting it all wrong there on the exit. It seems like it's just a little bit more tricky for all the other drivers, or for all the other drivers, for all drivers. The braking zones are so tricky, and we expected this to be one of the easier tracks for the driver, but it seems like the braking zones is what's catching them out the most at the moment.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a weird one, that this circuit that you would have thought would have been recognisably quite easy isn't. And that's the issue. You've got, you know, a few rights and a few lefts before you go around a lot more, and then you're back again. But it's very bizarre how it's turn 1, turn 2 that have had that issues. More turn 1, but turn 3 is obviously popped up as well. That is at the top part of the circuit on the first hairpin, if you're looking on the right hand side on the track map. But I don't get. I would have thought, to be honest with you, Dan, I think where I'm going with this, so I would have thought more of off tracks before the plunges off track. You know what I mean? Like Pete Van Gaal. I would have been more simple off tracks than literally off tracks.
Yeah, there's a lot of runoff in certain courses, especially turn 1, turn 3, a lot of runoff. The last 2 turns, a lot of runoff as well. But apart from that, it's all just gravel or grass on the outside, and you don't want to touch that. But yeah, braking zones, most difficult in this car. And once again, a Team Momo car going off. This time it's Steve Hefford instead of Pete Van Gaal. Pete Van Gaal is going to get that right back. He's going to drive him around the outside. Steve Hefford now dropping back behind Pete Van Gaal. The Momo cars not doing too well here, it seems like, apart from the man at the moment leading this race, Jamie Ayres.
Yeah, with Roger Morton battling away with Anthony Jacobson. This is your battle of the AM Championship currently at the moment. Roger Morton being unfortunately bullied out by Ralph Cullinan. What can Roger do? Pete Van Gaal's looking, he's tucked in behind Cullinan as well. Here's Morton going to get it all done. Oh, he's just been bullied out. Somebody's had his lunch money and his packed lunch, because poor old Roger Morton has just lost 4 places, and all he's got to left to show for it is empty pockets, because they've stolen his lunch money. Craig Jones has been off track. Let's have a look at what Jones has been up to. I've got a funny feeling this is also coming into turn 3. It is downhill.
Spin. Yep. You saw that the moment he turned in.
Yeah. There's been a one with Anthony Jacobson. Jacobson's there at the top of the order. You can see him spinning the car. Down the order he goes, but Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman still battling away. 6.5 minutes remaining, Dan, and we're only in race 1.
Well, this is already a crazy race. A lot happening here. A lot of drivers making mistakes under pressure or on their own. Roger Morton, that has gifted him the lead in the AM class. So Roger Morton now up into the lead of his class. P9 overall, Colin Sansom now behind him. There he is. Has a bit of a gap to Sansom behind him. At the top once again, the positions have switched. James Neve now on P3, chased down by Miles Owens. Jamie Ayres once again in front of Pete Newman. Those two have been swapping positions left, right and centre, it seems like.
Yeah, I think the run down off the last corner, down into turn 1, is supporting these two very well. I believe they're swapping what seems to be most of the time there, and they're doing it again. Newman's on the inside of turn 9 this time, the right-hander. Ayres is running around that outside line. They've got to be careful, because these off-tracks are going to be very, very tight. Jamie Ayres just got one, I believe. On that run down again, manages to hold on to the lead. But it is Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, James Neve. Oh, that's not going to help. Oh, he's back again, but that won't help anybody here tonight either, with Jamie Ayres having what looking like some internet issues at the moment. So there we go. Big shout out to Steve Hefford and Ralph Cullen. They're putting on a show further back as well. Oh! Whoa. As I talk about the show they're doing, and they've just shown how a GR86 cannot dance, Dan.
Well, that's not what you want, and I think, again, going into turn 1, that's the sausage curb on the outside, catching people out. Now here, we're 2 rows of side-by-side action. Where do you want to look? At the front, it's Jamie Ayres against Pete Newman. Miles Owens making the move on James Neve for 3rd position. At front, it stays all the same. Miles Owens, though, gets up a position. I talked to Miles Owens before we went into this race, and Miles Owens said to me, this is my favorite track, so I expect a lot from this evening. And this is actually the first time we've heard Miles Owens say that he's confident going into an evening. Usually Miles Owens is the one who says, oh, I'm slow at this track or at that track, and then performs. But Miles Owens is, well, still in with a shot at the victory here. So are James Neve and Daniel Hunt. If something happens up front, they collect the pieces.
Yeah.
Pete Newman looking close to Jamie Ayres. So where is he going to try and make that move?
I don't know, but wherever he's got to make the move, he's got to try and defend from Miles Owens at the same time. Unfortunately for all your Roger Morton fans, he has had an incident and dropped down 3 places. So Morton is down into 13th. He was leading the AMS at one point, which is now led by Colin Sansom. Pete Van Gool has also got himself into a little bit of a fracas, and we will have a look back at that one very, very shortly. Once this dies down on this run up into turn 3, it is a Remus uphill right-hander, and let's see how they get on. Jamie Ayres in front of Pete Newman, then Miles Owens, then James Neve, then Daniel Hunt as they come running up to turn 3 now. Newman's looking at making a move. He is, but I think it's going to jeopardize his exit. No! Jamie Ayres with a big old slide on there, Daan, and he could have been away, couldn't he, if he got that right?
Well, he could, but it's difficult to do a switchback in these cars. The power not really there in order for you to really make that switchback. Or, like in that turn, you're going to have to go really wide and cut back in really sharp, which is what Jamie Ayres did. Really wide there, by the way, on turn 4. So close to, once again, going off track. Miles Owens, though, now up into P2. So slowly but surely, working his way up the order, looking for his 2nd win.
Yeah, I think I like this track as well. I've got to be honest, I'm a lover of the Redbull Ring. It is a nice short track, and you can just give it some beans pretty much most of the way through before you sort of obviously come down through the gears for the tight corners. Please don't quote me that it's not full flat all the way. I do understand that. But you can give it a good old piece of welly, and you do feel like you're moving as well, which I know might sound stupid, but there are tracks that sometimes make you feel like you're going really slow. Long Beach drives me insanely crazy as well. So I think this circuit is going to be absolutely epic, and we should be having some great racing.
We should be. He wants some great racing, but it's difficult to have it. I think he's Jamie Ayres. I think, James, he got to slow down in the last corner, and that is why he's losing that time, which just went a little bit too wide and is now trying to get rid of that slowdown. And James Neve is going to capitalize from it. That leaves Miles Owens and Pete Newman with a little bit of a gap to try and fight over that first position on their own. Danny Hunt now also going up the inside of Jamie Ayres, and that is what a slowdown can do. Gets a really good switchback on Daniel Hunt as he gets a little bit of internet issues again. Jacqueline, meanwhile, in 6th, also doing a really good job with Cullinan. There he goes. There it is. Switchback done. Gets the position back. So momentarily was down in P5 because you got to slow down in the last corner.
Do you know the interesting thing currently, right, is Roger Morton has had an incident on lap 6, which is this one. As you see, he's coming down into turn 3. He's too much power. He's going to spin it round. There we go.
Oh.
Yep. Then obviously Colin Sanson took the lead of the AMS.
What has happened to him?
Well, that.
Oh, there we go.
In turn 4.
Oh, he got lucky that he didn't get collected there.
And now we've got a new man, Michael Seal, at the top of the timing tower. So from Michael's point of view, I'm hoping he might be able to stay there, because clearly nobody in the AMS actually wants that win tonight, as they seem to be dropping down as soon as they take the lead. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Well, Michael Seal had that lead a little bit earlier on in this race as well. Remember, was fighting for the top 3 at the early stages, made a little bit of a mistake, and now worked his way all back up to P1 in that class. Pete Newman, though, seems a little bit quicker than Miles Owens. Neve might be able to attack Miles Owens in this last lap, but Pete Newman running away with it a little bit. And we're on the last lap of this race. 9 laps completed. And this is going to be the last lap of the race after this. Remember, guys, we have the top 15 reverse. So that means that Pete Newman, I was going to say he's going to start 15, but that's not going to be the case. Making a mistake on the last lap of the race. Coming out on turn 3, that gives Miles Owens the lead. Neve now in P3, or P2, and Jamie Ayres in P3. Under attack from Danny Hunt in the background. He's going to try and go up the inside. Can't quite make it work. He's going to try and do something on exit. But that is an uncharacteristic mistake from Pete Newman, something that we haven't seen often this season.
No, definitely not there from Pete Newman. Craig Jones looks like he's got himself back into a fracas and is back into the pits again. Not a good night so far for the man who only owned the Red Bull ring a few hours ago. But Miles Owens could be on for a victory here in the Pro class, of course. Is he going to be able to hold it? He's only got 2 more corners left to go. And can the new boys to Pro lock out the front row with Owens and Neve and Ayres behind them? But it is going to be Miles Owens going to come across the line. He's going to take the victory here this evening in race 1. Have a boot, Miles Owens. A stellar job from him as we see Jamie Ayres still blinking around on track currently at the moment as well. So Jamie Ayres has got slight internet issues this evening to be blinking around as much as he is. In the AMS, we've got Michael Seal coming across the line in first place. So there is Michael Seal. Roger Morton in second. And then we've got Jacobson in third. So interesting one for these guys this evening. Seal, Morton and Jacobson. Everybody kind of threw away the lead at one point or another in there. Michael Seal was in the lead. He threw it away. And then Anthony Jacobson crashed as well, so he's threw it away. Roger Morton threw it away. Colin Sampson threw it away. And then just for good health as well, Craig Jones has another incident. So hopefully we should be able to see what Craig Jones... Oh, it doesn't look like he's got much of a car left already. Oh, no, that's the wrong car. Let's have a look. Oh, turn 1 for Jones. Turn 1, sausage curve on the outside. Prediction. Oh, well, that was a bit bizarre.
Lost it on the apex.
So we have come to the end of Heat 1 here this evening. Let's bring you up the results from Heat 1. Dan, take it away.
Well, it's the man that settled off this track and expected a lot from this evening. Starts off well. Miles Owens wins in Heat 1 ahead of James Neve in second. Jamie Ayres in third. And of Daniel Hunt, who tried his best into the last corner, even went in there risking spinning himself. Luckily for him, didn't do so, but sadly has to settle with P4 for him. Pete Newman in fifth after throwing away that lead in the last lap of the race in turn 3 on the exit. Carl Jacqueline in P6 ahead of Ralph Cullinan in P7. Michael Seal coming through that to win in the... Oh, no, not... Is that not... Yeah, Michael Seal, if I'm correct, on the AM class.
Yeah.
In P9, it's Steve Heffert. Don't know what I was thinking about there. Charles Kellyman in P10. 11th, Roger Morton. Anthony Jacobson in 12th. 13, Colin Sampson. 14, Mick Barry. 15, Pete Van Gool. 16, Craig Jones. Andy Litter in P17. Once again here, James, it's an evening to forget here for Pete Van Gool.
There you go. Would that make it easier for you, Dan? So, look, Michael Seal, whenever the AMS.
Yeah, I was thinking, you said he threw away the lead as well. But he is, I think, the only one who didn't throw it away at the end.
Not at the end, but he did throughout the race.
Yeah. At the beginning, it was the case. Roger Morton, though, managing to get back up into P2 after his unfortunate spin down into turn 4.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It looks like
nobody wanted the lead of the AMS. That was the ironic thing, is it looked like nobody wanted the lead. They all just were trying to hand it to each other. So there we go. But don't forget, guys, as well, if you are here for the first time, please subscribe. Turn on the bells for notifications and give the video a big old thumbs up. But what we're going to do, guys, is we've got 2.5 minutes left of practice here this evening before we go into race 2 for our top 15 reverse down, I believe.
Yeah, top 15 reverse. It is, James. You are completely correct with that. Well, James, I'm looking forward to it. This means that Miles Owens will start on 15th. You basically reversed the top 15 that we just had. And that means that only 3 drivers, if I'm correct, because we have, at the moment, about 18 or 19 drivers out on track. That means that either 3 or 4 drivers only stayed at the position they were. So it's going to be unfortunate for those drivers. They are going to start all the way at the back of the grid. The rest is all going to be reversed, but that is for a good reason, of course. This format, of course, comes into a league to spice things up, James, doesn't it? And you kind of want the guys that are quick at race 1 to start from further to the back in race 2 to try and see them come through the field and create a little bit more of a spectacle instead of having the same race happening again.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the interesting things, I think. Now we've seen Miles. Oh, Colin Sampson is not enjoying the Red Bull ring. He was a bit like me in a TCR last night at Virginia, VIR.
If you haven't seen it yet, James has posted a short on the JPB YouTube channel about how the race went. So give that a watch if you want to see how James did. I'm not going to spoil anything. I can tell you it was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I kind of figured, Dan. You've seen who I paired with, right? You've seen my teammates. I mean, their combined IR is like 9.5K. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know, mine in my lonely 1.3. I need a lot more practice.
So what you're saying is they just needed someone to bring the average I rating down. And here we see Colin Sansom taking a little bit of a different type of track.
Yeah, I think he's got somewhere else. No, they basically wanted to have somebody in each class because obviously you got the Elantra, the Civic, and the Audi. And they were like, James, do you want to join us? And I was like, well, what am I driving? They were like, the Audi. And I was like, oh, okay. So I drove the Audi, and obviously I did all right in race 3, apart from one silly mistake. I hated that Virginia circuit. Literally, I don't even want to ride around there on a push bike, let alone in a TCR, because it literally drove me crazy. But I did all right in race 3. I gained 11 positions, and I started 25th, and I finished 14th. After I was in one point in 11th, Dan, but I got so dizzy, I ended up crashing and going down the order a couple of places.
Is that how much of a roller coaster that Virginia circuit was for you?
Oh, mate, it was terrible. It was terrible. It scared the life out of me. And I sit here and just comment. We know we commentate, right? And we sit here and think, oh, yeah, it's nice and easy. It's easy. But that Virginia circuit is not easy in any shape or form. But the grid is ready here for the next one. There we go, Dan. It's all up to you. I'm going to do some things in the background while Dan does that. Dan, take it away.
Pete Van Gool in P1 this time round. Of course, he finished P15, so that's going to give him pole position. Mick Barry from the AM class in 2nd. Colin Sansom 3rd. Anthony Jacobson 4th. Roger Morrison 5th. 6th, Charles Kellyman. Steve Hefford in P7. Michael Seal P8. P9 for Ralph Cullinan. Carl Jacklin in P10. Pete Newman in P11. Daniel Hunt in P12. P13 for Jamie Ayres. 14th for James Neve. Miles Owens 15th. 16th Craig Jones. 17th Andy Littler. And 18th on the grid is Arnaud Channonnier.
Yeah, it definitely was. Excuse me if you all of a sudden you miraculously saw that get bigger then. I was working my magic with coding in the background very quickly. Pete Van Gool is in 1st place, and we are green for race 2. And it is PVG, Mick Barry, Colin Sampson, Anthony Jacobson. Sampson got off the line very, very slowly here running into turn 1, and he's now unfortunately down 1 place here as well. Looks like Roger Moore's going to go and have a good old push on it as well in the GR86. This is what to expect, Abby, from your dad. He is literally going for it. Full board this evening, and we do have young Abby Morton joining us on Saturday for the...
That's great.
For the Big Dreams Little Voices charity event. And also Kian, oh, he's going to kill me. Kian Jones is joining me as well, Craig Jones' son. And we do have a couple of others as well, but we are just waiting for final confirmation. But we do have at least 4 or 5 children there as well. And as I say that, there is a big one happening here in lap 1. Starting with this man, Michael Seal, I believe.
3 wide in the background. I think that's where it started.
Nope. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Kellerman. Oh.
Yeah, Kellerman spinning the zone. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi.
And the bumper cars begin. So we got Seal, Kellerman, Neve, Hunt, Newman, Littler, all involved. And I normally write down the driver's name, but I'm just going to write Chaos.
For the people who are wondering where he's going to write it down, James has a lovely sheet where he keeps himself up to date with everything that happened in the race for the interviews. And he's going to write down on that sheet Chaos. We don't know who all was involved in that. Too many names to write down. But Steve Hefford trying to make his way up the order Mick Barry in the AMS not doing bad at all. He's still in third together with Anthony Jacobson for both the result clothing teams. So both doing well there, it seems like, and they're both going well at it.
Mick Barry here defending. Is he going to defend hard from Steve Epic? You can see the people in the pits, and even Hunter in there already. Daniel Hunt is in the pits. Oh, Barry! Barry doing more pirouettes and a roundabout in a kids' park. I'll tell you that much, unfortunately for him. But Ralph Cullinan now under attack from Roger Moore and Jamie Ayres there as well. Anthony Jacobson battling away with PVG. Steve Hefford, sorry. PVG has gone up further on the order. And here we go into turn 3. Steve Hefford, Anthony Jacobson. Job done there as well. But Sean Yanye is having a good race here in race 2. He's currently up 7 places into 11th. I love John's comment. Kylie Minogue all over again. What he's referring to is Jay Corley in the SRL. At Okayama, who spun more times than Kylie Minogue's spinning song. Oh! Hello, Ralph Cullinan. You can't do that, son. Poor old Cullinan is just literally... Oh, my... Poor old Sanson's off there, mate. And I don't think there was any... That wasn't on his own, was it?
No, I don't think so.
You think? What?
I don't think so.
Hold on a minute. Here we go, just to prove it. No, definitely not. I don't believe it was. I think Cullinan might have been involved in that one, Dan.
I think so.
Dan says, Steve have no words to say for Dan Peebles as we've just watched Ralph Cullinan do. I'm not sure what Ralph Cullinan was doing, but he wasn't driving, I've got to be honest. But there as well, Steve Eppert in front of us taking a little bit of a diverted line here as well. And Anthony Jacobson's gone back through into 2nd place. Hunt and Geneva still in the pits. But let's see, why are we not back on this screen? Come on up, sure, click the button. But there we go, Steve Eppert. Miles Owens, mind you, is up 8 places into 7th currently, Dan.
Yeah, doing a good job, and well, into the pits, Colin Sansom. I think we've seen why got absolutely murdered there.
I think the Irishman pressed the wrong pedal. I think he forgot what way round they were. Accelerator on the right, Ralph Cullinan, brake in the middle, clutch on the left. But in the Irish,
but in the pub too much.
Yeah, well, he is Irish. You know what I mean? That thing is a little bit switched around, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, while James is having a mental breakdown in the background, we're looking at Steve Hefford, who is trying to make his way up the order. He's now back up the back of Anthony Jacobson, and well, he's been doing well up 4, also up 9. Behind him is Jamie Ayres, but the man, we said it already, Arnold Chardonnay up 10. He's the biggest gainer at the moment. Miles Owens in the background up 8. He's loving this track at the moment. P7 for him already. They're side by side. Steve Hefford is off the track. He keeps it going in the right direction. Roger Morton, I think, behind that has to brake in order for him not to hit him.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. I am back. Carl Jacklett making moves past Jamie Ayres. Roger Moore and Steve Eppert there. Carl Jacklett up into 3rd place. PVG currently out in front, flying along nicely. Pete Newman in the background as well. In night, battling away with Arnold Chardonnay. I've literally lost where I'm at, but we're trying to get there. Carl Jacklett, Jamie Ayres battling on the way here, and they're trying to catch Andy Jacobson in the arms in 3rd place. Jacobson's over the sausage curb. Oh, is he going to recover? That's got to be a slowdown down, isn't it?
That must be. He's moving over to the left-hand side. There we go. And to slow down, we do have to point out, because I don't think he's got too much inside yet.
Oh, Jacqueline's
Where's it going to end?
Badly.
I think they're going to get through fine. Oh,
okay.
Behind that though.
Yeah.
Morton with a big slide out of turn 3. Almost the man who was on his own that had a little bit of a spin there. All the rest getting through cleanly. But look at that. Miles Owens now right at the back of all 3 of those. Meanwhile, Hefford and Jacobson are side by side for P4. Hefford is going to try and look up the inside. Hopefully no contact now.
Oh,
There is a little bit of contact on the exit. this is very close. This is what we love to see, fair, close racing.
Yeah, as well. Jamie Ayres, Carl Jacklett, Steve Hefford, Anthony Jacobson, Miles Owens going at it, literally hell to leather. There's everything flying out the window. There's, Jacklett's in. Effort's round. Steve Hefford. Bye-bye, Steve. He's into the wall of all places, but we're still back. Jacklett's off as well. I've run out of space on my paper. Not good.
Yeah, not prepared for everything, James.
Well, I can't do an A3 sheet of paper, Dan. I'll have no room.
Well then, chaos in race 2 already. I said it at the beginning. Race 2 at Bathurst was absolute chaos. Half of the field retiring there, and it seems to be chaos here in race 2 again. And I have to tell you, if there was one track where I didn't expect any chaos at all, it would be this track. So much room to race on, but yeah, they're making it not work for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things as well, right? But did we expect an Irishman to forget where the brake was? Oh, Ralph Cullinan, I do love you, son, but that was insane. Oh, Dan, speak. Say something.
Well, the thing is, I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose, of course, but it looked a bit clumsy, didn't it? It's not the best that we've seen him do this season.
Poor old Ralph Cullinan. I don't think clumsy would be the word there, sir. But yeah, it was somewhat ceremoniously here. Welcome to my front end of my results clothing bill. Poor old David Ayres is going to have to fund the team funding this evening. David's not here today. It's probably a good job. He would have been having kittens at the repair bill. But Jacqueline Newman and Shonyon Ye doing a stellar job. Mind you, we've got 1, 2, 3 in the pros, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 in the AMs. So well done to them. So there we go. James needs an 8.5. 8.5? That's tiny. That's only little, isn't it? I've got that the right way round, don't I? I do work in a school for a reason.
Yeah, you do. A3 is bigger than A4, and A2 is even bigger than A3.
Yeah, but A5's tiny, right?
A5, yeah.
Oh, it's not tiny, it's like half an A4. Yeah. All right, okay, cool. All right, Phil, I'll just check it. Right, here we go now. Oh, Tom, Pete Newman's car, look at the state of it. Carl Jacklett clears Pete Newman. And really, I'm not surprised. Shonyon Ye! Oh, that's going to be a slowdown for Arnold Shonyon Ye there as well. He should be able to take Pete Newman. Pete Newman doesn't even look like he's running at full speed here. I've got to be honest, Newman does look like he's got a little bit of a better car currently at the moment. He's barely got 5th gear going up the hill. I don't even know if to say that. Do they actually hit 5th gear going up this hill? That's going to be the more important thing, I think.
Yes, so we saw drivers hit 6th gear, I think.
Yeah, Pete Newman's got a little bit of a sick car here. Jamie Ayres, Miles Owens. Owens up 12 into 3rd place. Go on, Miles, as he would go into the last 4.5 minutes.
Well, I was going to say a little bit earlier on, but the man at the front of the field, I have to say, Jamie Ayres is down! Wow! What a catch from Jamie Ayres. That's an incredible save from Jamie Ayres. Is still at the inside of Owens. Just once again going to get a little bit of a slide on, a little bit of a correction. Miles Owens is now going to try and defend from Roger Morton behind Morton. He's going to try and get P3. Overall, he's going to try and get on the podium. He's already leading the AM class. Jacobson behind, meanwhile, is looking to try and capitalize on any mistake that Roger Morton might make at the front. This is just amazing racing.
Jamie Ayres there with a big tank slapper. Now, we have seen the GR86 go completely the other way down, haven't we? When it slaps one way, they turn, and unfortunately it just goes back the other way. But Jamie Ayres, that was just incredible saving that.
Yeah, that was incredible. And once again, I'm going to try and say it, and hopefully nothing happens. The man at the front of the field, 8 seconds ahead now. He hasn't gotten much screen time yet, but I have to say, he's been leading this race comfortably. Pete Van Gool is well, just running away with this one. And you have to say, James, if nothing happens here for Pete Van Gool, and we've seen it happening in the last race where Pete Newman sprung it on the last lap of the race, nothing is over till it's over, but something crazy has to happen for him to lose that lead.
Well, he can cruise round, to be honest. He doesn't have to be too overzealous with what he's doing. He can just cruise round nice and slowly, chill out a bit, and just get round that way without going too mad. Do you know what I mean? He's only just got to get round, isn't he? Really, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well. Oh, Miles Owens trying to move on. Roger Morton.
Oh, they're going to come to contact. If he pushes him out, he only. Do you know what the worst thing about that is? Owens only had to just open up that steering a little bit to run Morton wide, and that would have been absolute chaos. Morton's coming back on the inside though. Morton in third place currently at the home moment for the AMs. For the AMs, Dan. Roger Morton in third.
Yeah, that's not bad from Roger Morton, and I've seen Carl Hardy say we need a rookie class for Morton, but
get out, Carl Hardy. What are you
I
on
don't
about?
think, seeing by this is evidence that clearly is not the case. Roger Morton doing a tremendous job here at the front of the field, keeping Miles Owens behind, and in P3 on the overall podium as an AM driver.
Yeah, absolutely. He's flying along. PVG's going to do one and one more here this evening. Miles Owens has got to run on Roger Morton. They're going to be side by side. Coming up into turn one now. How are they going to get on? Owens on the left in the red and black. Morton in the green and black with a black stripe down the middle, the go faster stripe. And at the moment, that stripe is making Morton fly along nicely here. He's got another stellar run out of this as well, Dan. And they're going to be side by side again. What an absolute incredible race from Roger Morton. He is literally flying. Look at that.
Well, Roger Morton started the race a little bit further up the field than Miles Owens, but still they come together here and they're fighting. Miles Owens around the outside is going to get the better exit if he can keep that car there. There's contact between the two. There is contact between the two. That's not what you want to have.
No.
But Roger Morton in the end loses out to Miles Owens. Miles Owens is now going to defend the inside once again going into turn 4. Roger Morton is going to have a little look, can't quite do it.
He's got to send it, he's got to send it, he's going to get caught up. Oh, he's got Jacobson behind him as well. The battle of the lead commences into turn 5 here this evening. PVG flashed up red then, I got a little bit worried. Morton's gone on Owens. Oh, they're going to, is he going to make it through? He does. Roger Morton inside of 4, Dan, before he gets on the exit out of 5.
Well,
they're coming back, he's coming again.
Amazing.
Owens comes back at him. One more lap remaining.
Owens needs to try and get a little bit of a break, or Morton needs to try and get a little bit of a break on Owens, but this is going to go on for the whole... Oh, there's contact!
Owens saves it.
Wow.
But that's definitely off tracks for the guys on the left-hand side there. I got a funny feeling that might even be slowdowns for them two on that far out. But Miles Owens is coming back again. Roger Morton in 3rd overall. Anthony Jacobson in 4th and Miles Owens in 5th. And what a battle this has been all the way through the field here, Dan, as we're on the final lap of the race.
Well, this has been amazing racing here in race 2 to round off server 1 here. Roger Morton has done a great job. This is Carl Jacqueline fighting still for P6. Chalonier and Newman both in that fight. Newman overtaken by Chalonier that last lap. And here we go. This is the last lap also for Charles Kellyman and Andy Littler. Andy Littler with half a car left, I think, for the work by result team there.
Yeah, he's got no bonnet on it. He's got no bonnet on it. What does he need that for? He's producing his own airflow. Andy Littler said, get it off, I don't need it. As we go into race 2 here, the final lap of the race, and it is Van Gaal, Ayres, Morton, Jacobson, Owens, and Arnaud Chalonier behind him as well. But it is Anthony Jacobson here trying to get a hold of Roger Morton. He's got, what, 4 corners left to do it?
About that, and I don't think you're going to overtake into the second to last corner. Not hard enough of a braking zone. Miles Owens is coming back.
He's got to take a dive out of here, Dan.
Too late.
If he's going to get
he's got to get a good exit first. Roger Morton is going to keep it. I don't think Jacobson is close enough to Morton. Meanwhile, Pete Van Gaal is going to come across the line to win it.
Yeah, Jamie Ayres in the second there, but here comes the Flying Dutchman, PVG. across the line. Jamie Ayres in second. What happened here with Morton? And it is Morton. He gets third overall. Owens gets third in class. Roger Morton, Jacobson there as well. Owens trying to battle Jacobson, but Jacobson's already got it on the line. Further back, Chanyonye, Carl Jacklett. It was Chanyonye on the line there, Dan, who managed to take it. Whew, that was close.
That was very close. In the background, Hefford and Mick Barry still fighting. Pete Newman got across the line in 8th. This is the battle for P10. They're going to go side by side. It's going to be a run down to the line for both. It's going to be Mick Barry or Hefford. It's going to be Mick Barry who takes P10, the final spot in the top 10. And for Mick Barry, that is P4 in the AM class.
Mick Barry. If you remember Interlagos, where Mick Barry took the first overall Pro-Am win overall. I know what I'm trying to say, but that's that doesn't make any sense. But here are the results from race 2, and I think you got to admit, Dan, that was absolutely epic.
It was. We see the AM results.
No, hold on. There we go.
There we go. For the people that remembered last week, this is Pete Van Newman in P1. No, of course, joking. Pete Van Gool finished this race comfortably at the front of the field. 10 seconds ahead of Jamie Ayres, of course, behind him. There was fighting going on left, right, and center. Chaos everywhere. But he managed to stay out of everything by driving away, basically, from start to finish. Jamie Ayres in P2. Roger Morton, in the end, gets P3. A heavy fight there with Jamie Ayres, Roger Morton, Andrew Jacobson, and Miles Owens. In the end, like I said, Roger Morton takes P3, the final spot on the podium, and the win in the AM class over Anthony Jacobson in 4th and 2nd in the AM class. Miles Owens, meanwhile, a good comeback drive for him, up 10 positions from where he started. Anand Chananier in 6th, Carl Jacklett in 7th, Pete Newman in 8th, Craig Jones in P9, Mick Barry in P10, Steve Hefford in P11, Andy Littler P12, 13 for Charles Kellyman, Ralph Cullinan in P14. Forgot where his brake pedal was in that race. Michael Seal in P15, Colin Sansom in P16, Daniel Hunt P17, and last but not least, James Neve in 18th.
Poor old Ralph Cullinan. Right, guys, we're going to jump for a quick break. Don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up as well. Turn on the bells for notification, and don't forget to subscribe. But for now, me and Dan, we'll see you after this break.
90.
Okay, guys, we are back here with myself, James Parfitt, and Daan Pepels. Now, one of the things that's just been pointed out to me, and I haven't recognised this for about 4.5 seasons, is that commentary is spelt wrong on the BRB screen. So I will get that corrected for next week. Thank you to John Brown for pointing it out to me. I'll get my little green marker pen out and start marking it off and tell the wonderful person who designed it for me that there's a spelling mistake on there. I've never actually noticed that before, Dan. I don't know if you've ever noticed the fact that there was a spelling mistake on the BRB screen. No, Dan. Okay, cool. So as we wait patiently here for Daan Pepels to return to the comms booth, he has obviously just nipped off for 2 seconds. Now we are going to pull in really, really quickly. We're going to have a chat with Miles Owens. Miles, good evening. How are you, sir?
Hi, guys. Hope you're well.
I'm very well, mate. A victory in race 1 and a wonderful 3rd place in race 3. That's not a bad night so far, is it?
Oh, I got P3, did I? Oh, okay.
Yeah, in class.
Yeah, P3 in class, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, that second race was mental. It was a great battle. Loved every minute of that one. And the first race, it was kind of gifted to me, really, wasn't it? So.
Well, we don't really, focus on the fact that Pete Newman had an incident in turn 3 and you took the lead on the final lap. We more say that you were in the right place at the right time, Miles Owens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely take it. It's hard work trying to try and beat some of these boys because they're really fast. So.
Yeah, well, I believe this is your favourite track. Is this correct?
Oh, I love this track. I love it.
So what do we expect?
Is it showing?
Yeah, it is showing, to be honest, mate. You're doing an absolute stellar job. What do we expect from race 3 and 4 then for you?
I don't know. I'm just going to keep my head down, try and keep clean, and try and go as fast as I can.
Okay, that's a fair enough way of looking at it, Miles. But, well done so far. And hopefully we'll see you survive race 3 and the somewhat always chaotic race 4. But, Miles, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have a chat possibly after the race, see how you get on.
Okay, thank you, boys.
Take care.
Thank you.
So that was Miles Owens there, Dan, joining us. As I said, he loves the Redbull ring, doing an absolute stellar job and flying along nicely.
Yeah, he loves this track, and like he said, it's showing at the moment, coming back through the field nicely. Thought for a second that he was going to get P3 overall, but Roger Morton said, no, that's not going to happen. And then, of course, after a little bit of contact with Roger Morton, Anthony Jacobsen got past as well. So tried to work his way back up. In the end, I think just got a few 100 meters too short on the front stretch. Otherwise, he would maybe have overtaken Anthony Jacobsen. But in the end, P3 in class, James, I think it can't get any better in terms of if you start from P15 and Pete van Kool is 10 seconds out front of the field. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that at the end of the day, it's showing that Miles does enjoy this circuit. He's doing an absolutely stellar job in it. And I think overall, he's going to have one of them evenings that's going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm thinking...
He's going to boost his championship.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm thinking fair play to Miles Owens. I think he's got something to really look out for and really push for. And I expect him to be further up the grid as it goes on. But, race 3, as we know, is always tricky. Race 4 is even trickier. So it should be an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, and I have to say, Miles Owens, very humbling guy it is. He never brags about what he does, except to me. But I have to say, saying to himself, well, I kind of got gifted it. No, he didn't. He wasn't in the top 3 in qualifying, had to work his way up the order. At some point, I remember him even in 5th. So he didn't have an easy drive, and he still had to get himself into that position. But as humble as he is, of course, he is... he, of course, says that it was gifted to him. I have just noticed on the bottom right-hand side, it says battle for 1,000th. I don't think we have that many cars on the track at the moment, but
well,
yeah,
why not? Hey, if there's a battle for 1,000th there's a battle for 1,000th, Dan. Stop moaning about it. You know what I mean? So gee, blimey. Oh, what can you ask for? Oh, well, you gotta love the wonderful world that is the timing software. We will try and get, I would say we'll get that resolved, but I'm not quite sure. That's nothing to do with us there as well. So hopefully we'll get that off to the wonderful people at SDK, who sure will be able to resolve the fact that it says we've got a battle for 1,000.
I think it is because Pete Newman doesn't have a position at the moment.
Well, he's not going to get one either. Not looking like his car like that, because he's just put it into the wall. So,
Yeah.
you know, he's definitely not going to get a position there. Oh, there we go. Battle for first. There we go. We're back up into first place. So incredible overall, guys. You've got to admit the race has been somewhat epic as well. It's great to see a couple of new people join into the Discord as well. TRX, thank you for joining us, and John Brown's come in as well. I know John from the SRL does a wonderful GT4 league that's at the season finale this Friday, and also he does the TCR league that runs the opposite Friday. So we've got GT4 this week, TCR, but then we're also they're doing their own great stuff they do there, because we're doing the another GR86 league as well. But there you go, Dan, over to you.
Well then, Carl Jacqueline will start this race from the front of the field. Arnaud Chananier on the second position on the front row. Pete Newman on the second row in third. Anthony Jacobson in fourth. Daniel Hunt P5. Roger Morton P6. James Neve P7. Jamie Ayres P8. Miles Owens P9. Pete Van Gool P10. Ralph Cullinan P11. Michael Sale in P12. 13 Steve Heffert. 14 Craig Jones. Charles Kenneman P15. Mick Barry, P16, Andy Littler, P17, and Colin Sansom, P18.
So we've got Carl Jacqueline on pole for race 3. It's going to be another interesting one, I think, here this evening to see how these guys get on as well. So let's see what's happening here with Carl Jacqueline out in front. Here we go, the lights are on. And we're away, and it's green with Carl Jacqueline as they come racing down towards us in turn 1. That very slow start in the GR86. Pete Newman behind him, Sean Yonier in third, Anthony Jacobson in fourth. Jacobson has got the inside line, mind you. Oh, Sean Yonier cuts his nose off and says no, but he loses position to Daniel Hunt there, Dan. Everybody seems to have got away cleanly currently at the moment as well. But it is James Neve, and they are going to be too wide further up. There's James Neve gone from one side to the other. Anthony Jacobson in the middle. Jamie Ayres is looking at coming up into turn 2. There he goes. Is he going to hold on? Is he going to stop the GR86? He is. Chananier wide, Dan. But so far so good with everybody else, and Carl Jacqueline out in front.
Well, Carl Jacqueline out in front got a good start. Pete Newman in second, who's already at one. Daniel Hunt already got a good start as well, good first lap. 2 positions up. Arnaud Chananier losing a little bit from where he started, but in terms of positioning class, Arnaud Chananier is still in first of the AM class. Meanwhile, Roger Morton fighting together with Pete Van Gool. Anthony Jacobson, meanwhile, also in front of him. He has to start back in at some point. Pete Van Gool is going to try and open up this corner as much as he can. Miles Owens behind that though in 10th, who at the moment has lost the position.
Jamie Ayres nearly losing it in turn 4. Ralph Cullinan takes a full advantage of that and moves himself up another position. But PVG and Roger Morton are having this epic scrap down in 7th and 8th.
Well, where's Roger Morton going to try and make a move? If he is going to try and make a move at the front of the field, Chananier losing a little bit of grip to Daniel Hunt. And that is Pete Van Gool very wide. That could well be a slowdown for Pete Newman. Or Pete Van Gool, sorry. Did it again. But Pete Van Gool once again has to slow down. There we go. That is what a slowdown does to you this early on in the race. Down to turn 1, Pete Van Gool drops all the way from P7 down into P12, even P13 now with a bad exit out of turn 1.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to get that slowdown off, but I do wonder sometimes if he would have been full effect and just hitting the brakes. But at the end of the day, he's done the right thing. He's done what I would do. We've got Charles Kellerman in the pits, but there's no sign of why Kellerman's into the pit lane. So I've got no reason why Kellerman is there currently at the moment. But James Neve is being hassled here by Arnaud Chananier, currently in 4th overall in the AMS. But it is Carl Jacqueline, Pete Newman, Daniel Hunt, Arnaud Chananier and James Neve.
James Neve also doing a good job here at the moment. He is up 2 positions. He's going to try and get another position. Meanwhile, Miles Owens trying to make the move up the inside. That's Miles Owens at the track. Looking the rear brakes, and that's going to lose in time. Steve Hefford and Roger Morton are both going to get through. And Michael Seal, well, he was under attack, but is not anymore now.
Oh, they're coming down now through Roush, running down through Worth. Oh, contact with Owens and Ralph Cullinan. Cullinan's not had a good time so far this evening. He's got to try and keep it clean. Mick Barry's gone round, and this is what happened to Barry.
Here we go. This is into turn 6. This is. Oh, sees everything happening up ahead. Tries to make a little adjustment mid-corner, and that just unsettles the car enough to force it into a half spin. Well, he had to try and turn around on the grass on Channel under attack from James Neave, who's about to gain another positions. 3 up at the moment into turn 1. They go still side by side, and that's James Neave with that position done. Alan Charnier doesn't have to fight it. If he can stay in the slipstream of Neave, try and get with him, then he's going to try and open up that gap to Jacobson behind. Meanwhile, Pete Newman also side by side with Daniel Hunt. Both of these guys in race 1 splundered their opportunity for the win. They're once again going to go at it. Jacklin out in front. Pete Newman side by side with Hunt going into turn 3. And it seems like they're both out wide. There we go. Danny Hunt coming back on track. So is Pete Newman, but that is a crazy fight there for second here, Jameson. Well, who's going to get it?
Oh, I wouldn't like to be putting my money on who these are here this evening. I can see Craig Jones has been involved in an incident as well. We will have a look back on Craig Jones's incident here this evening as well. So we will keep an eye closely on that one. But he is currently in the pits. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening to Jones. I just want to keep an eye on this for a minute before we have a look at the replay of Jones. And this is Newman and Hunt battling it out around Roush, coming through Worth now. Get it lined up. He can go on the gas early there if he can get that line like Newman had before he runs off as well. It's going to be interesting to see how much defending Hunt's going to do here, Dan.
Well, how much defending does Hunt want to do at the moment? Does he not just want to try and, together with Pete Newman, try and get to Carl Jacklin? It seems like they're already doing that. If they are not fighting, that's a little bit wide for Jacklin. That might be a slowdown. Let's hope for him it's not. But Pete Newman and Daniel Hunt both getting closer on Jacklin. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Morton with presumably a slowdown.
No,
or is it not just a bad exit?
This is Jacobson. Jacobson there in the results with the blue and the red and white. I don't think he got a slowdown. I think he's just gone, to be fair, he just got a poor exit out of the last corner, Dan. But Morton has got a flyer out of turn 1. Steve Everett on the left, Morton on the right. Green and black for Morton. Colin Sansom is in the pits as well, but they're coming up too wide into turn 3. Who is going to get this? Hefford or Morton or Ayres or Jacobson? Oh, Morton touched Hefford there, Dan. That could have been a lot worse, but up front, we've got Newman and Hunt overtaken Jacklin. I think Jacklin had a slowdown then because he's lost 2 places and quite a big gap.
Yeah, well, he's still fighting with Danny Hunt over that second position. Is now going to give it to Danny Hunt. Is going to try and get him on the cut back. Daniel Hunt professionally parks his car in the apex. That's going to give Jacklin the inside though for turn 6. Which is not what Danny Hunt would have wanted. This is both going to lose them there. Touch with Pete Newman. Look at the front. That gap is ever growing. Danny Hunt not going to try and make his way around the outside of Jacklin. They're still side by side. Going into 7. Who's going to get this, James?
Hunt's on the grab.
Oh, no! He's off. He's off.
Oh, where's everybody else? Oh.
Wow.
Wow, Daniel Hunt on lap 4 there, doing some proper Tokyo drift style. And that was spinning because he hit the gravel out of the exit of 3 and around he went early. No, it wasn't 3, it was coming out of Worth, which is 6. So poor Daniel Hunt there is now into the pits here on lap 4. You can see further back, Roger Morton still having a ding-dong now, doing it with Jamie Ayres. Jacobson behind him with PVG behind that. Closely followed by Miles Owens. Miles is going for, oh, he's through. He's got a lot better exit as well. Yeah, he's going to get PVG, I think, Dan.
He's going to go inside, or is he going to go outside? For the moment, he's going to stay behind. He's going to try and push Pete Van Gool. This is what he wants. This is the smart driver in Miles Owens. Now, he's going to try and push Pete Van Gool to get closer to Morton because they both have no slipstream. And once again, Miles Owens going to get a better exit than Pete Van Gool's. Once again, going to try and push him. No, he's not this time around. Goes for the inside. And, well, it's a tricky braking zone. Let's hope Miles Owens knows what a braking pedal is.
Yeah, Sean Yonye is battling away with Steve Hefford. Roger Morton's going at Jamie Ayres here as well. Miles Owens is looking to making the inside move over Pete Van Gool. Is this going to be Owens up into ninth place? It is. He can take the line away. Oh, he's done just that, and he's gone and chopped the nose of PVG. Sean Yonye is unfortunately going down the order here. He's just sliding down with Steve Hefford and Jamie Ayres and Roger Morton. And the two AMs battling it in with the pros. And let's see how they get on. Morton's got a lot better run there as well. Not quite sure where Hefford's going, but they're going to be free wide going down into turn 9. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. 4 wide. 4 wide.
Contact.
Oh, 3 wide. 3.
Wow.
4, 3. Oh. They are literally down throwing the cars at each other.
And we're once again 3 wide going into turn 1. This is only good for Owens, Van Gool, Jacobson behind. They're all gaining because of it. Look at that. Miles Owens now only 3/10 behind Channonnier. And Channonnier is going to try and make this work on Roger Morton, Steve Hefford. He got a good run out of turn 1. Is now going to try and get the move done into turn 3. Jamie Ayres in P5 is also having a good race. Morton in P6 as well. But who's going to get it? Is it going to be Morton or Channonnier?
Morton. Oh, still Morton. Hefford's back in front again, but man, this is fun racing we got going on here in race 3, Dan. It's incredible.
Well, this is what this track provides us with. This is an amazing track for racing. I mean, we've seen that this whole evening. Miles Owens not capitalizing on the fact that Channonnier was pushed a little bit wide. Channonnier still has the inside line, though, now for turn 6. And Miles Owens is going to have to try and run him around the outside. He's going to do just that. But there you see how quick the inside is to that corner. Better exit, though, for Miles Owens. He's going to get onto the gravel. That's going to unsettle his car a little bit. Now in turn 7, still side by side. They're going to make contact. If they don't watch out, Miles Owens is going to run wide once again, hitting the gravel. That's an off track for Miles Owens. I'm sure about that. But wow, this is amazing. And now Miles Owens is going to try and get up the back of Morton. But you see how much you lose with fighting over that position.
Yeah, PVG's had an incident in that car. If you look at his bonnet, he's got a kink in the front there as well. You can see it on his nose. See the left-hand part of Momo is sticking up in the air. He's hit something, but I'm not surprised considering how close they are. They haven't taken out more because Miles Owens is now cleared off down the road trying to get hold of Roger Morton. PVG still battling away with Sean Denier and Anthony Jacobson, but it's all about where is this man going to finish, because he's trying to chase down Morton. He's trying to go for, 3 exceptional finishes so far, and he's had a first and third overall in race 2, and he's doing a stellar job. And I think it's going to be really, really close to see if he can get Morton. I don't think he's going to get Hefford. I think he's too far away, but it's possible we could have a go at Morton here.
Well, not too much time left, like you said, for Miles Owens. Pete Van Gool, though, don't write him out in P9. Is gaining as well, and both of these guys ahead of him. Even though Miles Owens also has the slipstream, Miles Owens is now going to try and make his way up the inside of Morton if he can. I think he's just a little bit too far back, still too far back now from Morton. But yeah, Seal at the front of the AM class also not doing a bad job. I don't think he's gotten the praise yet that he deserves, because he's doing a great job. That this could well be his second win in the AM class of the evening. Of course, one race won, and is now on the verge of winning his second race this evening, race 3 in P4 overall, being chased down by Jamie Ayres and keeping Jamie Ayres behind, which is not bad, because Jamie Ayres is not a slouch in this car.
He's definitely not there as well. Craig Jones has just stated in YouTube chat he had an incident. Well, let's have a look. Really, I don't really want to be honest, but partly because Seal is battling away with Ayres here. Is Seal going to be able to hang on from Jamie Ayres? 1:57 on the clock. It's definitely going to be a tight one, Dan, I think. Definitely going to be a tight one as we come now over. They're going to have one more. And it is Michael Seal, chased down by Jamie Ayres, Steve Efford and Miles Owens. There's Owens. Morton's got up there as well. PVG's over the sausage curb on the outside line. But this is all where it's going to be here. And what Seal can do, he's had an incident as well. The front of the ASR is sticking up. Oh, he's giving up that inside line. The door's wide open from Ayres just to say thank you very much. It's like taking candy from a baby.
Well, it's not done yet, though. It's not done yet here, James. Maybe you were a little bit too early with that. Seal's going to try and hang around the outside of 4. And Ayres is going to have to work for this one. He's not going to get it for free. Ayres is going to try and make his way up the inside. Hopefully no contact between the two. Seal doesn't want to give this one up, although it's not for positioning class. And he might well want to do that because there we go. Effort is now in front of Seal. Here's the battle for third. This is Jacqueline fighting with Neve. So the battle for second, excuse me. Neve also having a really good race. Once again, up 5. And Pete Newman, of course, as always, if he starts to the front, he's going to finish well. And that is Neve for a little bit of an off-track excursion.
Yeah, Neve's on the gravel. Jacquelette's on the left in the red. Neve on the right in the Golf livery, blue and orange. And it is going to be Carl Jacquelette down into turn 9. Oh, Neve's going to come back. They're going to send each other the long way. Neve and Jacquelette here as well. We know how tough a racer Carl Jacquelette is. This is either going to expel disaster or it's going to be an absolute epic ending here. And it looks like Jamie Ayres, Steve Efford have both cleared Michael Seal all at the same time. There he is. He's just down to Miles Owens now. He doesn't want to go any further back because there is the looming Roger Morton with PVG. Take your line, Morton. I don't think he's going to send it now. Oh, he's tightened up turn 1. Oh, has he just tightened up turn 1? Here we go, here's PVG, but Carl Jacquelette, James Neve battling away now, last lap. No time remaining. Neve on the left, Jacquelette on the right. Optical Red versus JM Racing. And it is that one. Michael Seals looking at coming back over Jamie Ayres. Oh! He manages to make it through, but not before losing 2 positions. Did Michael Seal. Jacquelette's cleared Neve though, Dan, so it's getting even more spicy.
Well, Jacquelette, after being in P1 for at least half of this race, he's now back up into P2. Miles Owens still side by side with Hefford. Who's going to get this one? Hefford has the inside for turn 6. That's presumably the better line to take, but we have seen Miles Owens do it before. He's going to try and do it again. He's a little bit too far back, I think, to make it work, and he's going to have to hold him behind Steve Hefford again. And, well, he's going to try and run it with the better exit on the outside of turn 7. Not quite able to do so. He's going to try and get a good exit to try something into turn 9. But Seal also looking in the background to try and re-overtake Miles Owens.
It's going to be a close one here. As we can see, the leader, Pete Newman, is coming around the final corner. I will pick up on Pete very, very shortly. Owens going to go over Steve Efford. Oh. Let's pick up Pete Newman as he comes across the line. Carl Jacquelette did get second place. Neve in third. Ayres 4th. Here's that run. Owens, Hefford. Michael Seal says, I'm still going for it, boys. Oh, he didn't get it, though, unfortunately for them. One's down. PVG comes across the line. Ralph Cullinan, Andy Littler. There is Ralph. Had somewhat more of a quiet race, did Ralph Cullinan this time around.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. There we go. So, wow, what another epic race here from these guys. And I think you've got to admit, it's been crazy as we wait for Charles Kellerman, who is all the way around at turn 6 currently at the moment. But Seal takes the AM win. Morton in second at the AMs and Jacobson in third. Wow. We can have a look back at Craig Jones's incident. He said he had an incident. Now, I did say that he'd had it off, haven't he? We'll have a look back and see what sort of things Craig Jones has been... Oh, maybe that was already before that. So let's have a look here. There he is with Colin Sansom. Samson on the inside. Oh.
Yeah, Craig Jones, what happened there? Nothing, just an incident.
Well, let's have a look.
If you know,
James
you know.
is in front. Oh, net code between Samson and PVG, which shot him into Jones. So unfortunately,
And I
Craig
think
Jones.
that also was net code.
Yeah. So that was net code there, I'm afraid. Right, let's bring you up the results from race 3, Dan, on your screen now.
There we go. Pete Newman finishes this race at the front. Where he wanted to finish in race 1, I couldn't do it because of a lost lap spin. This time he doesn't. Pete Newman finishes in first position. Out of Carl Jacqueline in second. James Neve in third. P4 for Jamie S. P5 for Steve Heffert. Miles Owens coming through in P6. So another good comeback drive for Miles Owens. Michael Sale in P7 and first of the AM drivers. Second time he wins a race this evening. So he also loving this Red Bull Ring circuit, it seems like. Roger Morton in second in the AM class, 8th overall, 3rd in the AM class, and 9th overall is Anthony Jacobson. 10th is Pete Van Gool, 11th Arnold Channonier, 12th Ralph Cullen and Andy Littler in P13, Mick Barry in P14, Charles Kellyman in P15, Daniel Hunt in P16, Colin Sands in P17, and Craig Jones in P18.
Yeah, there you go. We have got one more session change to come, guys, and that is where we are heading about now, just to have a quick changeover of sessions, and then by the looks of it, we're going to have a chat with Carl Jacqueline. So anybody with anxiety, please do not read commentary over again in your head, because it is unfortunately spelt incorrectly. But here we go, guys. We'll be back very shortly. Okay, guys, we are live once again here this evening, and we're going to start off this race before race 4 with a chat with Carl Jacklett, who finished second in the pros in the last race. Carl, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Really good.
It's been somewhat of a bit of a manic evening, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, I've had a few incidents, but it's all seems to have worked out fairly well. Had a few bits, so I dropped back a fair bit, but worked my way up.
Right. Well,
unfortunately, the last race I got 2 slowdowns in.
Yeah, but you still finished second.
Yeah, I know. But if I hadn't got the slowdowns, I would have been battling with Pete.
Well, yeah, because we did
that would
say
be something else.
We did say the gap closed quite quick with yourself, Pete. And Pete Newman. Now, one of the things I need to issue an apology first off, Carl, to you. I did call you Elise Main earlier on, partly because.
Oh,
no, hold
because
on.
it's red.
Because you've changed your livery now, haven't you, to the optical red livery, and you wasn't in that last week. So I went, oh, it's Elise Main who's got up the inside, and then I looked, and then I realised it was actually you. So I do issue an apology for that one, because I didn't see you change your livery. So that was my bad. But look, we're going into the race 4. And I say it in the race 4 because it kind of lives on its own entity, race 4, doesn't it? It can get a little bit mental.
Certainly can do. Yeah, watch this space. Anything can happen.
Yes, it definitely can. But what are you expecting?
Well, I'm really pleased with my setup now. I've really got to grips with this car. It's not biting me anymore. I can push it quite hard most of the time. It's a little bit understeery, but it's manageable. But it seems to be quite quick, and still trying to get used to that. Yeah,
it's definitely slow off the line, but once if you can keep the revs up, it does kind of get itself going quite rapidly.
I'll have to look at how Pete Newman's getting off the line because he's getting flyers.
Yeah, go and analyse his start because, it should be interesting. But look, I think we're going to be getting underway very, very shortly. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure talking to you as always.
Always a pleasure.
And I look forward to having a chat with you maybe after race 4 when I see you come through on the victory.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm probably starting quite a long way back. I don't know. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, go out and smash it, Carl, for me. But take care, buddy, and I'll look forward to chatting to you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
See, that's Carl Jacklett, who I love dearly, but we are back here for race 4 with myself, James Parfitt, and Dan Pepels once again. It's going to be another exciting evening of race 4 action, I think, Dan. And are we going to be realistic that we think it's going to be completely clean, as I watch Ralph Cullen go around, who has had a rotten evening, mind you. So do we think it's going to be clean in race 4, or are we going to see what PVG's put in YouTube chat with a Leroy Jenkins? What do we reckon?
Let's hope not.
So
it's
which
been
bit?
Crazy all evening. The last bit.
The Leroy Jenkins. You should. Yes. You can say it. We're not shy on this channel, Dan. We can say it in the big Leroy Jenkins way. Don't forget, guys. After this, coming up round about 12:45 in the morning is the BSC Oval from Dover Motor Speedway this evening, so stay tuned for that one for round 3. And then tomorrow night we've got the Simability returns as well with Rob Sluter on the microphone talking you through all the action. That should be another epic evening of racing. And then we also have the LSRL F1 round 3 as well. Now they go off around about 12 midnight and about 1:45 in the morning. So if you are a late riser or a light sleeper, I guess, come and join us because that should be absolutely amazing. Simability is also in Dover, I believe, as well. So 2 races from Dover over the next 2 days, so come and tune in for them ones because they are going to be amazing. And if you haven't watched ovals, I promise you it's not just about turning left, and you won't be disappointed. Yeah, it's not just about turning left. There is a lot more involved in that as well. Actually, the Simability, me looking back through their schedule, the Simability is actually from Concord Speedway. Now, I've never been there, but I do like watching the Simability race before I go into the LSRL F1 round 3. Now that's going to be an interesting one as well, because it's from Spa. So yeah, come and join us for the LSRL F1 there as well. And then Thursday we've got the Radical Race Series is back again, and that was an absolutely epic battle last week. And then you know, I don't think we're going to be shy of action, considering we're in Bathurst. So, you know, Radical Sim Racing America 1:45 in the morning there with Rob Sluer and Biggles on the mic. That, again, is from Bathurst. Radical Sim Racing Am and Pros on a Friday. They go off 8 and 9, respectively, from Bathurst. Then we've got the SRL Round 6 finale from Catalonia for the GT4s. And then we've got the IGL 1 a.m. Cash Cup battle from Circuit Zolder. So we've got 4 broadcasts coming out on Friday evening, and what an exciting one it's going to be. And then, of course, on Saturday, we've got the Big Dreams Little Voices charity event. Session opens at 4. Stream will be live around about 4:30, 4:45. And then we've got the 3-hour endurance with the TCRs and GT3s. Now, we did have MX5s, but due to a limited amount of parties taken involved in the MX5s, we will just have GT3s and TCRs. Right. After me completely telling you everything that's going on the JPB YouTube channel, here is the grid when it wants to play ball. There you go, Dan, you don't have long. Literally, you don't have long. Kellerman, Barry, Littler, Cullen, and Chonier, Van Gogh, Jacobson, Morton, Seal, Owens, Hefford, Ayres. And then we go on to the next 10 after that. Then we got Neve, Jacklett, Newman, Hunt, and Jones. Boom. Finished off. Let's go. Charles Kellerman at the front, who's taking the longest to get on the line. So that's a bit of a shame. But there we go, Dan. That was the grid. Did you read it?
No.
Okay.
You were way too quick.
So
here we go. We're gonna go racing.
Yeah, we are off. Race 4. Stay tuned. That's not Charles Kellerman at all. That's Jamie Ayres. I'm waiting for it to shift around a bit now, as the timing tower is going to go and have one mental moment here in a very short moment here, when we realises the current leader that's hold on, who is that? That's not Charles Kellerman in the green, is it?
It is.
It is. Oh, look at it. Its colour looks different, or is that my eyes?
It's because it's night. It's because the silver doesn't look silver anymore. It looks kind of pinkish.
Yeah, but he is underway. Sorry about that. I completely got confused there. Mick Barry in third, Ralph Cullinan in second, and then everybody else is 3-4 wide at the back there with Sean Yonye in the mix as well. Michael Seal, Roger Morton. There is Sean Yonye going off the side of the circuit. Pete Newman's also done the same, battling away with Steve Hefford. Then we've got the little bout in the middle here with Carl Jacklett, Miles Owens, and James Neve. They're 3 wide. We're going to be 3 wide up front as well. Is Morton going to push this 3 wide currently as well? He's not. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, they all make it through, Dan.
That was very close. They all make it through. Miles Owens in P10, behind Andy Littler in P9, but still side by side up front between Morton and Seal. Seal's going to look for his 3rd victory this evening. Before he does that, he has to overtake Barry, Chonanye, and Jacobson. But meanwhile, at the front of the field, Cullinan and Kellyman still in with the fight. Kellyman has lost the lead to Cullinan, and he's now going to try and get away from Kellyman. So, well, Cullinan doing a good job here in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, Michael Seal
repositioned.
is leading the pack of Miles Owens, Pete Newman, James Neve, Steve Hefford, and Jamie Ayres behind him currently at the moment as well. So there was a lot going on here this evening between these guys. Cullinan up front, 3, Van Gaal 3, Newman up 5, Littler down 12. Now I can't see any reason why Andy Littler went down 12, but unfortunately it looks like he's just been bullied out of position and it's dropped all the way down to nearly last place with Daniel Hunt and Craig Jones. So let's see how he's going to get on here and how he's going to recover, because he's going to be a tough ask. But Charles Kellerman got Pete Van Gaal battling right behind him currently at the moment. This is your battle for second place with PVG all over Charles Kellerman, whose livery I did not recognise due to the night lights of the Red Bull Ring.
Does the Red Bull Ring have night lights? I don't quite remember.
But they're over the start gantry and that has lights.
Yeah. I was confused for a second. I was like, I've never seen any like light masters or anything here at this circuit.
Oh, Oh, PVG's going to go in the inside of 3. That's going to go up. Oh! Makes it through PVG. Miles Owens is having a flyer as well with Michael Seal and Roger Morton. They're all mixed in a battle with Pete Newman kind of trying to come up behind him as well. They're too wide with Morton and Miles Owens. Going into turn 4. Oh, is he going to make it through? Morton's going to have that better line down. That inside line seems to be working a little bit better than the outside line.
Well, Miles Owens can't quite do it around the outside line here. Neve has to watch out that it doesn't touch. They don't, but Miles Owens, what you can see, that outside line provides him with a very good exit out of that corner. He's now going to try it up the inside of Newman. Oh, that's contact! That's Hefford braking way too late. Newman taking avoiding action and in doing so, half spins the car, gets going again. But that was a crazy dive from Steve Hefford, and I think just was braking a little bit too late.
Yeah, he didn't make the move in the end, but we'll try and have a look back and see how he's going to do it. Maybe not quite yet because they're still battling further down the field. Here as well, Jamie Ayres is battling away with James Neve. Ayres comes through. Hefford's on the recovery. Jacquelette's still surviving, but Jacobson is not. Jacobson is not, and neither is Andy Littler. Jacobson goes round on lap 3 in race 4, and unfortunately for him, it's all about him and Littler. Gone round down, not great for them guys, but they have dropped down the order. Daniel Hunt and Jamie Ayres now battling on away, and that was in turn 1 for them guys. Unfortunate for them.
Yeah, well, here we have 3 bags of 2 wide. It's Pete Newman and Jacquelette. It's Hunt and Ayres, and it's Barry and Neve. Barry's probably going to get out of that one. He's not going to fight too hard with Neve. He gets through. Danny Hunt up the inside of Jamie Ayres, and he's going to get it. There's going to be contact between the two. No, there's not. That is great respect from the 2 drivers to not make contact there. Pete Newman gets a better exit than Hunt now, so Pete Newman's going to look for the move on. Hunt can't quite do it. And Jamie Ayres defended beautifully there from Daniel Hunt, so he's now up into P11. Mick Barry is now on P10. Neve off the track, or Seal off the track, and that is not going to be a 3rd victory for him this evening. That is him out of the running before the victory in the AM class, or something crazy has to happen up ahead. Steve Hefford is side by side together with Neve. Once again, James, action all across the field.
Yeah, there definitely is. I'm trying to find where we're going to point the camera because PVG has cleared Ralph Cullinan, and Cullinan is now tucked up behind him. Here's the battle for the lead currently at the moment. Then we can see Miles Owens behind that and Roger Morton. They're battling on away as well, coming up to catch Charles Kellerman. And then we've got James Neve, Steve Hefford, Mick Barry, Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, and Daniel Hunt. They're all in the mix. Barry just got torpedoed from Daniel Hunt there as well. Barry in turn 1. But so did Pete Newman. Oh, P-back all Ralph Cullinan. Oh no.
Oh, Pete van Goorlen's on.
No. Did Cullinan survive? He did. Oh man, that's left Charles Kellerman out in front with Arnold Chagnonier behind him, and Miles Owens in an amazing 3rd place, Dan.
Wow, that is crazy for Miles Owens. Up 7 positions. Biggest movers at the moment. Craig Jones, Miles Owens, meanwhile, tries to make his way up the inside of Chagnonier. He's gonna do that easily. Chagnonier is gonna get a better exit, but Miles Owens is gonna cover it off. That's a beautiful move by Miles Owens. Calm and collected, got past. He's now going to try and make his way to Charles Kellerman to take his 2nd victory of the evening. It would be the first time that he would take 2 victories on an evening. And what a moment to do it on his favourite track. So let's see if Miles Owens can do it. It has 7.5 minutes left, a little bit more. So enough time for him to slowly make his way to the back of Kellerman. Kellerman, however, though, is going to do everything he can in order for that, in order for him to stay in 1st.
The fear is Kellerman's on a 154. No, he's on a 149.9. Owens on a 149.58. Fastest lap of the race currently at the moment as well. So it's going to be all about what Miles Owens can do. currently at the moment on his 1:49.57. But here's Morton as well. Morton's battling away with Chagnon behind us. Here we go now. The battle of the AM lead is spicing up between Chagnon and Roger Morton as these guys go rushing up in the hill into turn 3. And there's Kellerman just below us. Is Morton going to make this move over Chagnon? Looks like no. Morton hit the curb on the inside and slowed his exit down.
Well, Morton is now going to try something down into 4. Not quite able to be close enough for that move, I think. Miles Owens and Chagnon car both have been in the worst. The front of that car from Chagnon not looking great. The back of Owens' car not looking great. Talking about the cars being in the wars once again.
I think Craig Jones is missing something there.
Yeah. He's gone shopping and forgot to close the trunk.
Yeah. 3 wide with Daniel Hunt, Carl Jacklett. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's gonna go
oh, okay.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. So that can
unfortunate
explain
there.
Yeah, why Craig Jones lost it. They're battling 3 wide, and I don't think this was going to work really in the first place.
Well, this could have worked, but you crash in a straight line, which is quite clumsy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess from Craig Jones' point of view, it's not ideal. James Need battling away with Steve Hefford here. Up front, Miles Owens. As we'll see, they'll get run over. Miles Owens still battling away with Chagnon. He's still trying to catch Kellerman currently at the moment. And the gap up front is literally 3 seconds. And it is coming down bit by bit. 1:49.7, 1:49.9. So Kellerman's still in that 1:49 area. But Miles has pulled out a little bit of a gap over him currently at the moment.
This would not be enough for Miles Owens if he keeps gaining at this rate. He needs to gain about half a second to 7 cents a lap in order for him to be able to try and do something towards the end of the race. 2.6 seconds, the closer he's going to get, the more slipstream he's going to pick up. Of course, on this track, low downforce, so a lot of slipstream, or there won't be too much slipstream. Of course, we know the less drag you run, the less of a gap you make in the air. He also has to watch out that he isn't under attack from Chagnon behind. If Chagnon can, he might be able to work together with Owen to try and get away from Morton as well, try and bump draft Miles Owens up the order and try and get away from Morton together. But at the moment, it seems like Chagnon and Miles not quite able to work together because Chagnon can't quite keep up with the pace.
Yeah, well, we've got about a 2-second gap from Miles Owens to Steve Hefford at the back there. I know it doesn't look like 2 seconds, but it's about a second 8, yeah, maybe about 2 seconds to Steve Hefford as they go past us here. But it is Chagnon. The gap to Kellerman is now down to 2.5. Owens is reeling him in. He's doing it very slowly at the moment, Dan, but he is bringing him in. So let's see how Kellerman and Owens deal with this situation here this evening.
Well, Miles Owens looks quick. Let's see what he's going to do this time round. It looks to be that's very wide for Miles Owens. That's definitely going to be an off track. He's using every possible centimeter, inch, whatever you want to call it, off the track. Chagnon not getting the best exit out of the last corner. Neither is Roger Morton. Neve is going to try and overtake them both. He's up the inside of Morton. Chagnon is going to defend from Morton, if not Neve. They're going to be side by side to turn 1. Here we go. Neve up the inside. Morton keeps around the outside, though. Hefford has a good exit. He's now maybe going to try something on Neve. This is, well, once again, a pack of 4 that are fighting like crazy here, James.
Yeah, and Miles Owens has cleared Chagnon. Owens at the top part of your screen there, currently in the red and white.
Only 1.3.
Only 1.3. He has pulled a chunk out of Charles Kellerman. And if Kellerman isn't careful, well, it could be, but if he's not careful, he's not only got Owens, but he's got Chagnon, Morton, Hefford, Neve, and Ayres, and Newman all behind him. So he's going to get eaten up here just incredibly quickly if he does not do something rather rapid. He's got to show he can't do no more 154s. He's got to do 150 points. He's got to do 149s. Otherwise, he's gone. These guys are going to swap him. Newman's just made the pass past James Neve. They're side by side going into Roush. The left-hander, of course, recognised as turn 4. Owens is now right up beside Kellerman. This is going to be it. Kellerman's going to have 2 laps to go, and I got a funny feeling if he's not careful, he's going down the order.
Yeah, well, hopefully for Kellerman, it's not going to be the case. Let's hope that Miles Owens either gets past quickly, or he can stay ahead of Miles Owens, because that would be, of course, what Kellyman would have wanted. Kellyman wants to stay ahead of Owens, but now that Owens has the slipstream, it's going to be even more difficult. That's very wide, though, from Miles Owens. That could be a slowdown. That was at least absolutely on the edge of a slowdown. It's going to go to the outside, turn one.
He's trying to
There's
push
no room
him.
there.
He's just trying to push him out. There he is. The red and black of the Platinum Racing Team, GR86, Platinum Racing there. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Is he going to make it through? He is. Chagnon and Morton. Chagnon, yes. Hepburn and Newman, they're still as they are currently at the moment, but James Neve is in the mix in the battle still as well. But it is Miles Owens who's taken the lead from Charles Kellerman. The problem for Kellerman is the group that are coming, and they are coming fast, and with literally this and the half a lap we've got now and the final lap, and then we're going to be done. But Morton and Chagnon still battling away. Kellerman's trying to keep up with Owens. He's got to. There isn't a question about it. He needs Owens to pull him along, otherwise he's going to be in deep, deep trouble. Morton taking that inside line again. That line he favours throughout the evening. He's done him well as Roger Morton. He's doing an exceptional job. He needs to get on to Kellerman, and he's got about 1.5 to do it.
Well, there's going to be one last lap if they come across the line this time. Kellerman is going to move to the inside of Miles Owens. Miles Owens defends from Kellerman. This is not maybe what Kellerman wants, because something goes wrong here. There's this whole pack behind him that can capitalize. He's going to try and do it into the last lap of the race. 16 seconds left. It's going to be very close. I think Miles Owens is going to get there, and we're going to get another lap. Yeah, he is. We're going to get another lap.
No, final
across
lap.
the line he goes.
Final lap of the race. Here we go. Neve needs to leave Hefford alone here. If any of them have got a hope of getting involved with this, Morton's the one that's going to be catching up to them. And it's how it's going to go for the last few corners. We've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corners remaining here in Red Bull in Austria, the Red Bull Ring. Kellerman, yowzers. That was close.
Yeah, well, a bit too close for comfort, I think, but they got through eventually. No contact, luckily, between the two. Morton, once again on the podium here. Morton doing a really good job here. Got onto the podium, of course, in race 2. Is going to try and look to do the same here in race 3, but maybe one better. Race 2 was P3. And now in race 4, he might be able to get P2 off Charles Kellyman. This is, like I said, this is not what Charles Kellyman wanted. If he didn't attack, maybe Miles Owens into that last couple of corners last time round, this wouldn't have been the case. Morton's practically pushing
It's
Kellyman.
locking up that inside line, Dan.
A spin behind. Newman and Neve are off the track.
Morton's
Both
lost.
have spun.
Morton's lost it to Hefford. That's saved Charles Kellerman. Oh, Roger Morton. He's going to take the victory in the arms, but Roger Morton saved Charles Kellerman there as well on his own mistake, and Hefford come through. And it was Neve and Newman. We will have a look back at that one very, very shortly. But here comes Miles Owens. Kellerman in second place, Hefford in third. And then Roger Morton comes across the line for the arms in the lead currently at the moment. Chagnon comes across in second. But boy, oh boy, that was close.
Yeah, well, it's how we like it. Fair and close racing behind that, though. Look behind this. Newman going for the gap. Can't quite do it. And then Neve is going to both catch them. Neve doesn't know where to go. Oh, that's unfortunate for Neve. Had nothing to do with that. And sadly, caught the end of it.
He literally didn't have anywhere to go, though, did he?
No, he didn't.
You know what I mean? He literally had nowhere to go here this evening. So unfortunately there for James Neve, it was all about coming into that incident. But there you go, down for the final time. Read us through the final results here from race 4 for the results clothing UK Sim Racing GR86.
Well, the podium, all pro. Sadly, Roger Morton in fourth couldn't make it up to the podium again this evening. Still, he wins the AM class. But we'll begin with the man at the top. Miles Owens gets his second victory of the evening and his third victory ever in the UK SimRacers. And, well, does it in style with some good comeback drive. 9 positions gained. Charles Kellyman, though, lost 1, and that he did just a couple laps before the end of the race. Steve Hefford in P3. Then the winner of the AM class, Roger Morton in 4th. 5th is Jamie Ayres. 6th is Arnold Chanonnier. The 2nd in the AM class, James Neve in 7th. Pete Newman in 8th. Carl Jacklin in P9. Andy Littler in P10. Craig Jones, P11. Arnold Chanonnier in P12. Anthony Jacobs in P13. 14 for Daniel Hunt. Pete Van Gool in P15. Mick Parry in P16. And 17 for Michael Seal.
That is the final one this evening as well. And I think you've got to admit, that was just...
Yeah.
That was just, wasn't it? That was 4 epic races here this evening as well. So absolutely amazing. Just want to point out as well, we have now just hit 504 subscribers. So that is absolutely incredible. Not many more to go. And about 96 actually before we hit 600. So, you know, get your mates, your mum, your family, everybody. So hit the subscribe button.
Everyone, share it.
Share it out. Get it on social media. Why not as well? But we'll just see who we can have a chat with here this evening. We do have our very own Mr. Roger Morton in here as well. So Roger Morton waiting for a chat with us. I do want to have a chat with Ralph Cullinan actually as well. But let's start off the interview process with one Roger Morton here tonight, who's not had a bad night in the AMs at all. I believe there's 2 victories and 2 second places for you, young sir.
That's not bad, is it? I suppose. Yeah. Good night's work, I think.
Well, you were right up there.
I enjoyed tonight. To be fair, I wasn't going to come on. Wasn't feeling too good, but I did, and yeah, we didn't do too bad, did we? So.
Well, me and Dan, we did really well actually. You know, you did all right in the car. You know. Yeah. First.
I hope we put a good enough show on for you.
Oh, mate, it was amazing. We loved it up here, as we always do every Tuesday evening. Do you know what I mean? But how do you think this season's going for yourself, Roger? You know what I mean? Are you enjoying it and pushing up the championship table with tonight's races?
Well, I don't know. I'm a bit way off points. Unfortunately, I've had some bad races through the championship. A few DNFs, which hasn't helped. The pace has been pretty good throughout, but them DNFs have not helped. It's nice to have a full 4 finishes that have actually decent finishes as well. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I bet you are as well, mate. But it's been amazing having you always in the booth with me. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
I just want to make an apologies to Miles in the second race because I didn't realise I actually hit him or nudged him to spin out. Looking back at replay, it was actually due to me diving to the left to try and get the run on outside of him, which it was me that did it. But so sorry to Miles because it was a good race up until then. To be fair, Momo's keeping up with Momo's boys was pretty epic as well because they're super quick. So. And then the usual, obviously, my result team for backing me for everything they do. And of course, you 2 lovely boys commentating and doing everything you can do to put on a good show.
Thank you very much, Roger. I appreciate that as always. Take care. And we look forward to having a chat with you next week.
Yeah, mate. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Right, I do want to bring in...
Oh, hello.
Oh, Mr. Ralph Cullinan, how are you, sir?
Fantastic as usual, James. And how are you, sir?
Well, apart from absolutely, well, I was just in complete stitches. Now, I want to ask you about an incident.
Which one? I can't remember the song.
Race 2, lap 2, turn 3. Poor Colin Sansom.
Yes, I know exactly. I did apologize, but I never heard anything back. But I know exactly what happened there. I think you do too.
Now, look, I appreciate, you're from the Irish contingency, but the accelerator's still on the right-hand side and the brake's still in the middle, right?
Yes, correct.
All right.
When you're coming to a corner, James, when you're coming to a corner that you confuse with a different corner, right? And you set up for that corner, but it's the wrong one. That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I was so caught up in what was going on that I thought we were in the fast third gear. And it was the slow second gear one instead. So there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
You literally torpedoed.
It was a brain fart. Big brain fart. But we all get them.
Oh, dear.
There's tablets for that.
Oh, yeah, there is. I'd definitely suggest at your age, mate, you want to start taking them because clearly your memory's quite going.
I ran out, mate. That's the problem.
That it was, mate. You didn't have enough for the day.
Yeah.
Oh, but dude, you provided unbelievable. The highlight for me. I was just literally in stitches and lost all ability to talk at that point after I just watched you, full board somebody off the track. But look, it wasn't your greatest evening, was it? Let's put it bluntly, Ralph. It wasn't your greatest night.
No. I felt it was a bit more argy-bargy tonight now, I have to say. But great racing overall. And Pete was very unlucky there in the last race to spin out and catch. We caught each other, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't complain. I a lot of off tracks, but yeah, it's just try and work your way back and finish the race. But unfortunately, that didn't happen with the old engine blow, So yeah, that's it. But look, again, another very entertaining evening, and looking forward to watching the stream back. Watching you laughing your head off.
Don't watch race 2, mate. There's about a 5-minute spell with Daan at the talk because I was just literally rolling around in stitches. But look, Ralph, it's such a pleasure talking to you as always. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or maybe an apology to before we carry on?
Yeah, well, Colin, because I did apologise, but as I said, I didn't hear anything back. So yeah, absolutely, because I said brain fart. That's what happened, and. Thanks to all the guys, everyone on the grid for having a great night, and especially a big call out to Carl Hardy and David Ayres, who didn't turn up. So that's not good. We'll be having words tomorrow. Okay.
All right, bud. Well, you take care, Ralph,
Right.
And I'll look forward to hopefully not seeing one of them ever again. Take care, Ralph.
Cheers, James. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
Right, let's have a chat with Charles Cullivan. Finished second in the pros in round 4, race 4. Charles, good evening. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Very well. And how are you? How are you?
I'm all right, actually, to be honest. Now
Good,
I've fully
good.
recovered from race 2. With Ralph Cullen and torpedoing somebody off the track. But look, let's not worry about Ralph. First of all, I want to issue you an apology, partly because under the dark lights of the Redbull ring, your livery looks completely different.
All right.
So
okay.
it looks pink and green. So I did get a little bit confused off the start line there by questioning who actually was on pole. So first I want to issue an apology for you, but well done and congratulations there. Not a bad race 4. How was the rest of your evening? Because obviously we don't try and see everybody, but how did Charles get on throughout the rest of the evening?
Well, excuse me. Race 4 was a bit of a reprieve because the first 3 races weren't very good at all. I think it was race 2. I got into a bit of a tussle. I think it was Jamie Ayres on turn 2. Put me at the back of the back of the pack. But yeah, I love the track, but I just couldn't get it together tonight for some reason. Starting on pole in race 4 helped because I didn't have to fight anyone into the first couple of turns. But yeah, the Pete Van Gool and Ralph came past me. I mean, they're both very quick drivers. Came past me pretty quick, and then it was just hanging on for dear life. Unfortunately, what I started doing, even though I was like 3.6 seconds ahead, I started looking in my mirrors, didn't I, and looking at my relative. which is never good because I started making a load of mistakes. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with the night. You know, it's been a good evening, really.
Good. Well, you know, overall it was an absolute stunning evening for us as well. You know, did you think you were going to take the victory in race 4? Because you got fortunate when they come together. So did you think you could hang on? Because Miles Owens had a flying evening going into race 4.
Yeah, he's absolutely awesome, isn't he? When I saw Pete and Ralph, they were pretty close, and I don't know whether it was a case that Pete overtook Ralph and then kind of lost it on the next turn. But I could sense something was going to happen. So whilst I was, you know, driving quite hard, I was still being cautious just in case. And luckily, I managed to avoid the coming together and get past them safely. But then, like I say, Miles, I was just chatting to him in the other room, and yeah, his exit speeds, you know, was just phenomenal. And that with me checking my relative every couple of seconds didn't help, so helped me. But it goes to show, you know, when I'm relaxed and no pressure, I actually managed to set my fastest lap without any draft. So, but it was after that I started checking my mirrors, which was my downfall, unfortunately. But yeah, these things happen.
Yeah, it looks like we were just looking back at the incident. It looked like Pete Van Gaal got out of control, slid, and then went the other way. And unfortunately, as he hit the barrier, he come back and tapped Ralph Cullen, and that was kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
Going forward, though, what are your expectations, Charles, from this season? You know, you're currently sitting in 6th in the championship. What are we going to see from you as the season goes on?
You know, if I can get in the top 5, that would be an achievement for me, because I mean, you've got the likes of, well, all the Momo guys, especially Pete Newman, Dan Hunt, you know, just to mention a few. They're all quicker than me, all of them. And to be sat in P6 currently, you know, I think that it's not always the fastest that get the most points. You know, there's points to be had for clean laps. There's points to be had for, you know, leading a lap, and it all adds up. So I'm going to do my best to gain as many points as I can and have clean races and, you know, finish them all. We won't talk about me jumping the start and having to go in the pits earlier. So
race 1.
We'll have to avoid things like that. But yeah, it's about, you know, getting the points that are available, you know, as many times as I can throughout the week. So top 5 is my target.
Awesome stuff. Well, we go on to Snetterton next week. It should be another great evening of racing. But Charles, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave? Yeah,
Miles for a fantastic race, and for doing really well. You know, obviously give a shout out to the team. We've got some team members taking a bit of a break, but they should be back next season. You know, and obviously you guys are putting on a great stream week in, week out. It's absolutely fantastic. Sometimes I don't go to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning after watching it all. But no, it's great. And you know, the work you're doing is absolutely fantastic for the league. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Well, Charles, you take care, and I look forward to speaking to you next week.
All right, speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right, I'm going to bring in Miles Owens into the booth once again to have a chat about how his evening has evolved into what can only be perceived as somewhat of a great evening for Miles Owens. Absolutely stunning evening of racing. Miles, good evening to you once again, sir.
Hello again. Hello.
Well, that wasn't a bad race 4, was it?
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? I mean, I kept that trouble. I managed to get free space so I could catch the leader, and I think I might have got in his head, and he did start to make mistakes, and I caught him pretty quick. Sent him the double. I went one way and then went the other, and then I got past him.
Now, Charles did just say in an interview that he started looking in his mirrors at about 3.5 seconds, saw that it was you behind him, and then unfortunately spent most of the time mirror driving, which then led to him making the mistakes that he did for you to be able to catch him. How, though, you know, looking at the championship currently at the moment, I've got you in 3rd place. Not far off the leader, 220 points, but we know with the system that the UK SimRacers have got in place, anything can happen over the next race. We go on to Snetterton. Come on, Em. What have we got from coming up from Miles Owens next week at Snetterton?
I don't even own the track. I haven't done one lap at iRacing on that track. So I'm going to have to put my hand in my pocket, get the track and do lots of practice.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Or use one of your drop weeks, I suppose. But look, yeah, get on Snetterton. It's going to be an interesting one. I've got to be honest. I'm just going to check which layout they're going for.
It's the 300. I've been told it's the 300.
Yeah, it's the 300, Snetterton 300 circuit. So that's going to be an interesting one there for yourself as well. But Miles, look, you've had a stunning evening of racing. Congratulations, buddy. Look forward to seeing what you can do at Snetterton as well. But is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Well, just the usual, Platinum and the sponsors, and obviously the community, because I'm starting to get used to it, and it does feel like a family feel, and everyone makes you feel welcome. And yeah, if anyone wants to join, they're a great bunch of lads. So.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of people join the Discord this evening already, so that should be absolutely stunning, and we look forward to next season as well, getting everything sorted out for that one. But Miles, look, it's a pleasure talking to you, as it always is, buddy, and I look forward to maybe, hopefully, having a chat with you next week at Snetterton.
All right, cheers, guys.
Take care, mate.
All right, bye.
Bye. Well, there you go, Dan. Everybody seemed to be in good spirits, Charles Kellerman, mirror driving. Yeah, not the most idealistic way of driving, is it, this circuit, unfortunately? But, overall, it's not been a bad evening of racing.
No, not at all. I enjoyed it, and it's this circuit, of course, provides us with this. It provides us with some amazing action. The straights allow for people to try and come back on each other, and I think we saw that a lot. We saw a lot of back and forward racing between two drivers, which is what I like. You can come back after you've lost the position, and it made it a great spectacle. I think that's also my last word for this evening. Back and forward.
There we go, guys, as well. And I think you've got to admit it was another stunning evening of racing. If you do want to get involved, please do so. You can with the Discord links that are down off the UK SimRacers website, actually. So go and get yourself involved in that one. Don't forget, this Saturday, guys, we do have the Big Dreams, Little Voices as well. There are places available. There's only, I think we're down to our last 10 spots. So get yourselves involved as well. The Discord link is in the YouTube description. Big Dreams, Little Voices, 3-hour endurance in aid of the Rainbow Trust, £10 per team, 2 drivers per team. There are solo entries as well, so if you want to get yourself a fancy a good old 3-hour endurance as solo, go for it. Get yourselves involved in that one. We'll give a big shout out as well to our sponsors this evening. Results Clothing, Result Work Guard, dependable, coordinated outwear that provides durability to those who rely heavily on their clothing at work. Work smart, foster workforce unity, sharpen customer confidence by using Work Guard clothing. Work clever, rely on Work Guard garment design and technical fabrics to keep your workforce comfortable throughout their working day. Available in a wide range of sizes and colours, textures and finishes. Work Guard by Result will enhance the image and credibility and price of any professional tradesman from head to toe. Find us at shop.resultclothing.com. But that is it. Once again, guys, we push on now to Dover for the BSC NASCAR this evening at 12:45 with myself and Kenton Sportex doing that one. So, as always, guys, from myself and Dan Pepels, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, might see you on a track sometime. Good night.